Tonight is the night. It's the finals of the EA Sports Cup. Back in October, 20 FIFA teams started this tournament on this very stage. And today, we're down to our last four. Glory, this trophy, $50,000 and qualification for the FIFA E Club World Cup are all up for grabs tonight.
Some say 2v2 FIFA is just for fun. Well, not here.
Mbappe, no! Cruyff, love it. Is it there? Hey, yo!
This is about handling pressure.
Have to be 4-0 down on the Trevor!
Proving people wrong.
Complexity might get a gift!
I saw some people say that we kind of fell off, so it feels good to just kind of shut everyone up.
And doing what's necessary to win.
I'm not scared of anyone, but I do not think we're the underdogs here. But
This is what the EA Sports Cup has been all about.
Here's Pele. Dolomite dancing in the box, quite literally! Dancing his way to goal!
Knockouts were all about composure. Some didn't have the best day at the office. The victorious few now fight for the biggest slice of $250,000.
Mendes never forgets, man.
Who takes home the glory? Time will tell. Live from London, the EA Sports Cup Finals starts now.
Well, the time is now as well, Brandon, and we have a live audience in the house as well. That's pretty exciting. Ready to see a winner crowned tonight. Mike LaBelle and Ryan Pessoa are back with me as well. Well rested from Monday night because there were some big surprises, boys, on Monday, wasn't there?
I don't think I can get past this RB Leipzig where you have the current world champion, you have a future world champion, we're looking at Anders, versus FNATIC with Tekkz and Diogo. And it's not that they lost, but the result, 8-1. Hold on, I didn't misspeak. 8-1. I couldn't believe it. It's probably the best 2v2 performance we've seen not only of the year, but maybe ever in terms of the quality difference. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree with you. A resounding result. We also saw another upset, of course, the recent 2v2 champions in Riders being eliminated in Tuga and Doni. It was a closer game that wasn't as high scoring, but yeah, nonetheless, a huge upset.
The form sheet just keeps getting ripped up, guys. I'm going to keep this right now, though. It's got my notes on it. But let's talk about the four teams who are still in tonight in the semi-finals and the finals, of course. Well, I've got these guys. Complexity Gaming. Mike LaBelle is loving these two. North Americans, of course. FNATIC, we've already spoken about how dominant they were on Monday. FUTWIZ, possibly the underdogs of the entire tournament so far. Ryan fancies those guys. Then these two. Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pajamas. Possibly now the best team on paper. They're all brilliant, these final four, and let's see how they got here then. We mentioned the scores. Complexity, PSG, that was pretty tight in the end. Went to 92 minutes extra time. We thought there could have been an equaliser. They go through, though. RB Leipzig Gaming and FNATIC, well, 8-1. Let's not dwell on that one too much. Let's move over to Athletic Riders, the world champions, getting knocked out to Team FUTWIZ, the only match that went to extra time, remember, on Monday. And then Focus, Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pajamas. Again, a little bit closer than we possibly expected. 4-3 there. Well, let's see then what they're playing for tonight. Ryan, there's money on the line as always.
Yes, of course. Just for reaching the top four stage in this tournament, you're guaranteed $25,000. A win to make it up into the finals, you're guaranteed $35,000 for runners up. And of course, the jackpot, $50,000 for the champions. However, there's also another thing guaranteed. Finishing top two gives you a spot in the E Club World Cup later this year. So for me, I've got a bit of a thing here. As it stands currently in the group stage, we're playing against FUTWIZ. So if they make it to the top two, we won't have to play them, which is of course a great thing. So
Ryan's not hoping no one loses, of course. He's
Yeah,
not hoping anyone loses.
There's a bias on this side, okay? He said that with a big smile.
Man City, of course, esports team, which Ryan is a member of. They're hoping to qualify at the end of the year as well. But Mike, tell us about the rules for this final event as well.
I've got you covered. Pretty straightforward. Single elimination. We're dealing with two legs, aggregate scoreline over the course of the two legs, of course. If tied, we will go to extra time. If extra time doesn't decide, we have penalty kicks, which I'm happy about. And as Ryan was touching on, two teams advance, or the top two teams advance to the FIFA E Club World Cup, guaranteed No qualifications necessary. You don't have to play online matches. And Ryan gets to avoid FUTWIZ if it's one of the two teams. So
Takes the pressure off, for sure. We might get some extra time, we might get some penalties. Let's wait and see. The first semi-final, though, we mentioned it already, is Complexity Gaming. I'm not going to give this man a chance to talk about them just yet. I mean,
I will talk.
It's going to be a great matchup. They're going against FNATIC, of course. And on Monday, we realised there was some unfinished business brewing between these two teams.
What do you make to Complexity?
Mendes never forgets, man. Mendes never forgets. That's what I'll say, honestly.
Mendes never forgets. Is there a little bit on that? I seem to remember penalty shootout potentially, a penalty kick. Can you go on that?
Yeah. I'd show. Just know if we go to penalties, I will be Panenkering every penalty down the middle, every single penalty down the middle, because Mendes never forgets. But we'll get him back.
I mean, Mendes never forgets, but Ryan Pessoa was a part of this. It seemed like Joksan possibly had forgotten, but Diogo hadn't. What went on here?
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a grudge lingering there from Diogo. This was actually in Club World Cup in FIFA 20, where I think it was Joksan on Complexity. He chipped a penalty over the bar, which had its implications where we would have advanced into the knockout stages and it would have knocked Diogo out, of course, who was representing Sporting back then. But yeah, it didn't work out in that way anyway, but I know for sure he's definitely got a grudge after that.
I mean, 3 years on. Come on,
Yeah,
Diogo, let it lie. Let it lie.
I would hold the grudge. Hold the grudge. This is competitive FIFA. There's not that many spots. Even though I will say it is kind of an unconfirmed conspiracy theory.
Yeah, there's a conspiracy.
What we're looking at is that penalty kick. Who puts the ball over at this level?
Maybe it was an accident.
Oh, okay.
It could have been.
That's all we're saying. There might have been some other reasoning there.
Well, we can ask the guys when they come into the arena a little bit later. Mike, let's talk about Complexity then. Obviously, American boys are still in with a shout tonight. But am I okay in saying possibly they had some weaknesses against PSG? We thought they'd be dominant. They kept going back. They're two-time world champions. They almost got an equaliser, PSG did, in the final moments, and they could have taken it to extra time.
We're not going to focus on that negative energy.
Okay.
They got the result. They got the victory. They moved on. And I actually go here and say this. If they win this event, they'd be a two-time world champion. I'd say they're the best 2v2 team ever at this point. I don't think anybody else can make the claim for it.
Yeah. And the greatest serving team as well. I mean, it's only you, I think, Ryan and Shells from Man City Esports, who have been together maybe just a little bit less than Complexity have.
Yeah, they have the chemistry, and I agree with Mike. I think that if they do end up winning today, becoming two-time world champions, I would say they are the best 2v2 team we've ever seen. But again, they have a tough task, beating that FNATIC side that we saw on Monday. But I think we have to be fair to Complexity. As we said, they are world champions or previous world champions, so they know what it takes to go the distance.
We're putting the pressure on Complexity. I mean, a team, I guess Team FNATIC, they need to do something in the 2v2 ecosystem to really establish themselves as a force to be reckoned with. They haven't really achieved that much yet, so they'll be wanting to cause another upset. We've already spoken about it. They caused quite a big one on Monday. Obviously, it was that 8-1 complete defeat, wasn't it, of RB Leipzig Gaming, who we said pretty much were the best on paper. They had Umit, the world champion, and Anders, the new wonderkid. What happened, Mike?
Nothing went well for them. You got to give a lot of credit for FNATIC. I think they played a perfect game, and you're going to see some of the celebrations, some of the back and forth. They're finding the cameras. There's a viral moment that happened as well Monday. It's already gone viral online. We have a no-look time green finesse shot or time green finish. That's never happened, and they just added insult to injury. And I don't know about you, Ryan, but this felt personal to me watching this.
I mean, that was the Anders celebration as well there, wasn't it, right?
It's definitely personal in my opinion because, of course, Tekkz, in my opinion, I'm going to say this, right? There's no bias here. I think he is the best FIFA player we have seen in the FIFA Global Series era. And he felt as if Anders coming onto the scene without technically proving himself on that level sort of took the limelight away. So I'd say maybe that's where it sort of stems from.
I mean, it looked like they just got in RB Leipzig's head. And they got in there good and they did not get out. Do you think that was the kind of undoing of that side?
Yeah, we saw, of course, the mind games were a big thing from Diogo. We saw the interview just before. Mind games again at the end of the game for his next opponents in Complexity. So I feel as if that's something that you have to think about as well when they play.
I mean, this one's going to be so exciting. We've had unfinished business. The pot's been stirred by these two. We have guys doing different celebrations, guys getting in everyone's head. I mean, let's just have enough from us and let's meet these two teams because it's going to be fire in the pit. Carl Walker is about to introduce them to us.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I am indeed. It's time to introduce our first two competitors of the evening. Both of these teams know what it takes to win trophies on the big stage. And let me tell you, the tension in the room is building. So let's bring out our first team. Coming all the way from North America. They know what it takes to win on the big stage. The powerhouses who thundered into the semi-finals with victory over PSG Esports. Please welcome Complexity. Quick one from both of you. Walking out here, there's a crowd, but you know what it takes. You've done this before in front of people, at home, whatever stage it is, you'll come up and you'll turn up as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we're like big game players, so this is the type of setting like we want to be on, and this is where we perform.
Joksan, Diogo said, Mendes never forgets. Have you been up all night, every night, having nightmares about that, or are you quite relaxed when it comes to your opponents tonight?
No, I'm quite relaxed. Obviously, like, they're good players, but we're going to try our best to win.
Right, well, good luck. I'll let you go and get sorted and settled right there. Let's introduce our next team. Their opponents, the team that sent an extremely loud message on Monday evening to the rest of the competition with that victory over RB Leipzig. Call them anything but underdogs. It is FNATIC. Guys, you've done this before. I said the exact same to them. You've both been on the big stage. What will set you from your opponents tonight?
Just playing our game. And if we play our game, if it's enough, it's enough. If it's not enough, it's not enough.
You talked about being the underdogs on Monday, but after that semi-final performance, surely, Tekkz, you're not underdogs anymore.
No, man, we're favourites to win this game, but same thing as Diogo said, man. If it's enough, it's enough. If it's not enough, it's not enough.
Right, well, we'll see what happens. I never know if you're underdogs or not, both of you. FNATIC, make your way over. The countdown timer has started. We are 90 seconds away from our first semi-final. I cannot wait for this. Let's throw it straight across. Ryan Pessoa has joined Brandon Smith.
Thank you very much, Carl. And yes, here we go. We normally say welcome to Championship Sunday. It's Championship Wednesday. It doesn't matter, though, because there's still $50,000 on the line. And one team tonight will be picking it up. Ryan, back in October, we had 20 teams that started this journey in the EA Sports Cup. 4 remain. Maybe not 4 that everybody thought would still be here, but regardless of it, what a selection of teams we've got and what 2 fantastic semi-finals we have.
Yep, 4 fantastic teams. As you said, it started all in October, and any team here to get this distance, some teams are unbeaten as well. So to reach this stage isn't easy, and you have to give credit to all the players involved.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about this game in a little bit more further detail. There is a lot of pre-hype that's been given, including yourself, Mike and Rachel, in terms of the storylines there. This is FNATIC's best ever run in a 2v2 tournament. Ever since they jumped into the FIFA esports scene, you could say Tekkz was looking for that +1 for some time. Once upon a time, it was Tom Lees that came in for a period of time from Hashtag, and then obviously he moved on to XL in latter times. But then Diogo Mendes came in, and ever since he did last year, there was a top 8, there was a top 6 finish in the Team of the Season Cup, the E-Club World Cup. But then this time round, they've taken up a notch. This is their best ever run in the 2v2 tournament.
Yep, absolutely. And I love the I guess, commending on Diogo. He's someone that's a fantastic player, but of course you can understand why sometimes he does get overshadowed by someone like Tekkz, who has won it all, done it all, and performed at the highest level. And of course, you do have Complexity Gaming with Joksan and MaXe. They've played together for a number of years, won a 2v2 competition before, well, won 2 in fact. They've won, of course, a domestic one and a world championship, so they know what it takes to win at the highest level.
And we have to say that as well. They've achieved some incredible achievements in their career. Of course, they both were actually signed back to the American Esports Organization back in 2019. Joksan put pen to paper in March of that year, and quite a few months later, MaXe came in November. And since then, they've just been an incredible force. You have to remember, they've flown over to London all of these times they're competing in this. Competing with jet lag, they've had to arrive so many days early. But in a 2v2 format, Ryan, yes, they are past champions, of course, in 2v2. They've had success in FIFA 20, FIFA 21. FIFA 22 was a bit of a stinker of a year for them. Let's be honest. They played in 2 tournaments. They got, I think, top 24 in the Team of the Season Cup. They were grouped in the tournament that they're known religiously for being so good in, the FIFA E-Club World Cup last year in Denmark. They got 6 points from 30. They were bottom of the group. What's happened to then bring that spark back to this team that we see here today?
Yep, of course, there's a new game, a new meta in the game, which potentially could suit the way that they play, but I think overall they just put the work in more than they have done in previous years. I think for Joksan and MaXe, they've both been fantastic 1v1 players. They've performed on the 2v2 stage as well, but it just sort of dwindled last year. They felt as if that spark was gone, but it's back. You can tell how confident they are. They seem to be relaxed as well, and they're arrogant in a sense that they've accomplished this before. No one else here has done that, so they'll be backing themselves to win it all.
Keep an eye on small sort of intricacies in 2v2 FIFA. This obviously is FNATIC on the ball, kicking from right to left in that white strip. You can just see every team has got a captain. The captain in this FNATIC side, no surprise, is FNATIC. Tekkz with the blue cursor, that blue triangle above his head. He's in control of Captavia now. And with the green turquoise is Diogo, his teammate. What a result they have. Let's quickly get your thoughts on that one, Ryan. 7-0 at one point it was, and then it finished 8-1, equaling the goals they scored in the group stage. That FNATIC RB Leipzig result will be one that lives on for forever. Here comes FNATIC now, first chance of this semi-final, and Van der Sar will get 2 hands on it.
Absolutely, it was. As Mike said earlier, I think that's the best 2v2 performance overall I think I've ever seen. I'm not just talking about this FIFA specifically, I mean overall since the Global Series has begun. I think that performance was complete defensively and offensively, of course, with scoring the goals. And you mentioned them scoring, I believe you said it was the same amount of goals they scored throughout the whole of the group stage. So they've definitely improved on that front.
Here comes Mbappe now. This is Complexity looking to build from the front. Could be an early chance again. Van der Sar just does enough there. And what we've got a quick break in play. Let us know at home. We can see the Twitch chat on YouTube and Twitch. Get involved. Who do you think is booking a spot in tonight's grand final? FNATIC or Complexity? Let your voices be heard in that chat and get your predictions in right now. Remember, if you win this game, grand final guaranteed. Much more than that, Ryan, and the $35,000. FIFA E Club World Cup guaranteed. You're a pro player yourself. You'll be competing with Manchester City. Just how hard is it to make it to that tournament? Because we are talking weeks and weeks of qualifications. This ball comes into the box, and just like that, Diogo will get FNATIC off the mark. It's a time green header from Pele. Maybe not the man on the first of your list to score headers in the box, but he won't care. And just like that, FNATIC have continued this goal-scoring form that they've found in the knockout stages.
Oh, it's a fantastic ball in from FNATIC. Tekkz there, delivering it to Diogo for a green time finish past the goalkeeper, a 1-0 lead. To be honest, I didn't think there was anything on there in terms of a clear-cut chance, but again, you have to create those moments and take them when they come, so it's a great lead for FNATIC.
As we were saying, Ryan, back to that point, that ticket to the FIFA E-Club World Cup.
It's huge. It genuinely is huge. Of course, it's very difficult to qualify for the E-Club World Cup. Qualification begins at the start of next month. So having that solidified, meaning you can just bypass the qualification stage. You can sort of put 2v2 aside for now and just focus on the 1v1 season as well, which is another benefit. And of course, you miss out on, well, for us anyway, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be playing FUTWIZ as it stands. So
you want to get rid of them. Here's a chance. Here's Tekkz now, the captain of this team. It was a golden chance for Arnhem. He went for the cheekiest of chips, but Van der Sar just about got his body around that. In hindsight, was there anything else he could have done, or was that just Van der Sar being superb?
It's a good moment to bring out the goalkeeper there when he took that touch towards the goal. I think the chip option was the right choice from Tekkz there, but as you said, it was great goalkeeping there to nullify the chance.
Keep in mind that this game is played over 2 legs. Aggregate scoreline will play a part, as always. Best of ones in the group stages. Ronaldinho finds R9, fancies his chance from there. That's MaXe. Just let him rip from the edge of the box, saying, look, we got that in our locker as well. We're not afraid to take shots from that distance.
We've seen those go in as well. Green time finishes, of course, it wasn't green timed in that moment, but we've seen those find the back of the net, so I wouldn't say it's too optimistic of a chance. I think the personnel choice as well is very interesting to see, with FNATIC still using the Captavia foot card or item in the team. Some teams opting to use Yaya Toure as well, Vieira in at centre-back, but most of the teams will have the staples in their squads. Of course, you've got Arnhem Ronaldo, who is the main player up front as he is on the ball right now.
Chance, here's Joksan now. Well played, Maldini. Just to get your thoughts on that back line that FNATIC have gone for. You see everyone normally go for Patrick Vieira in there, and Virgil van Dijk has featured a few times. They've gone for Maldini, some would say the ultimate icon centre-back alongside Virgil van Dijk, but people might question Maldini in that. He was superb alongside Virgil van Dijk in that 8-1 win against RB Leipzig.
Yeah, I think it's, of course, personal preference. It depends on who you've been practicing with over time. Who's worked well for you? Some people, they might not like Vieira in terms of his defensive positioning, and his stats aren't as high as Maldini, but he offers everything else. But FNATIC push forward here.
Well, here's a chance. It's Tekkz now with Jorginho. Timed it green. It's 2 for 2 in quick succession. FNATIC have once again just taken the game to their opponent so quickly that they can't even react.
Wow, it just seemed the space to open up there. I believe it was Complexity dragging out a defender there. And of course the goalkeeper movement sort of making up the mind of FNATIC Tekkz, who green times it in at the near post. 2-0 up already in the first half. They started off as they left Monday night in fantastic form.
What worries me here though for Complexity, Ryan, is we questioned for so long FNATIC's goal scoring form, that now it's just become a completely different story. But defensively, FNATIC are the best defensive team out the 4 that are left. They've only conceded 7 goals. That's going to be really hard for Complexity to try and break down, especially with the confidence that is oozing out of this FNATIC side.
Absolutely, and I would associate Complexity, Joksan and MaXe as more of a defensively structured team rather than all-out goal scoring. I feel as if when they take the lead in games, they're very, very good at controlling it. You can see that their past record in the group stage, their performance against PSG on Monday as well. When they took the lead, they seemed to die the clock down. It could be a last attack here. No, it was a great challenge there from Complexity as we go into half-time.
Well, half-time in semi-final number 1 sees the UK esports organisation FNATIC with a 2-goal cushion. Yes, there's still 3 halves of FIFA to be played, but it's a brilliant start so far. We mentioned there was another English organisation in that top 4, and I believe Carl Walker is joined by someone who's a very important part of that team.
Cheers, Brandon. I am indeed. Denman, we're here. The FUTWIZ boys are next. Was there watching as well? You all seem quite relaxed, let's be completely honest. When we've just seen the first half of that game, FNATIC 2-0 up, Complexity, they've got it all to do. How do you come back when you're 2-0 down to FNATIC?
It's a good question, because FNATIC are brilliant defensively and going forward. I think for Complexity, it's just really about damage limitations at the moment. Keep yourself in the game. You don't need to get into it too quickly. You've still got another 3 halves of FIFA to go. As you can see, if FNATIC can get 2 in 1 half, then so Complexity. It's just about keeping in the game still, making sure by leg 2 it's not 3, 4, potentially 5-0, and majority of the time a tie will be done, won't it?
Right, well, there's 3 legs of FIFA to go. Let's have a look what happens. Brandon, Ryan, back to you.
Thank you very much, Carl. Yes, welcome back to the second half of play here. Great to hear there from Denman.
Ooh, almost a mistake.
Huge part in FUTWIZ's recent success in the Global Series. Looking back to that Qualifier 1 victory with Ethan. He's been put in the reps alongside those 2 stars at the moment have come through. FUTWIZ, Ethan and NiKSNEB, they take on TG.NIP. That's Weerd and Ollelito. That's our second semi-final. You are watching the top 4 teams from the EA Sports Cup. It's been the first taste of 2v2 FIFA. And FIFA 23 this year, but if you had to assess that first 45 minutes, Ryan, after this chance comes in from Complexity, who are 2-0 down. What do we have to see Complexity do in this half other than just score goals?
I think what Denman said is perfectly right. I sort of have to echo his statement in the sense that you're only 2-0 down. There's still a little way to go in this leg of FIFA, and of course you've got a whole next leg as well. So you don't want to capitulate and go into the second leg 3 or 4-0 down where you know you have to chase the game from minute 1. A 2-goal deficit is easily turned around in a game of FIFA. So for them, I just stay calm, wait for the opportunity to arise and try and take it.
That's reverse elastico there from Tekkz. You wouldn't expect anything else from him. Actually did get dispossessed by Joksan. They played quite a competitive quarter-final, did Complexity. It was a 4-3 win over PSG on Monday night here in London. The difference in that game, Ryan, is that they always had the lead, did Complexity. Went up by 2-0, and even when PSG did come back, they were just always able to stay on the front foot. That's not been the same case in this semi-final.
Exactly, and I think it's very difficult to come back in this position with the way that FNATIC are playing. They're sort of setting traps defensively, especially high up the pitch as well, forcing them into turnovers. So again, when you do retain possession, as Denman said, it's just about not rushing. But it's so easy to say that, even as a player just watching it, you know it's not. There's a lot at stake. You know what the result means to you. So it's very, very common for you to potentially just make those small errors that lead to big chances.
It's another poor pass there from Pelé. FNATIC will get another chance to break through at goal. Tekkz with Jarzinho. Fancied a little drag back into an Elastico. Couldn't quite find his way through on that occasion. Jarzinho, one of the new icons this year, Ryan, who has certainly hit the ground running. He's a favourite within the FIFA Pro scene, isn't he?
Yep, absolutely. It's almost a staple, I'd say, in most of the teams. Of course, his offensive attributes contribute to making it a lot easier to attack with the skill moves as well. And yeah, a lot of players in this team can change the game, as we see a pause cued in as well. You can see the coaches behind either team trying to give important information so they can, well, I guess for both teams or for each team is different sets of information, but it's an important moment because you don't want to concede a goal at this moment for FNATIC.
Yeah, very different sides here in this semi-final. A couple of changes maybe coming in for complexity. Remember, there is still a full second leg to play here. We'll see what is being changed. Looks like personnel changes will be coming on. Keep in mind that these are pretty stacked FIFA Ultimate Team squads where these players, just for this tournament, only will get access to pretty much every single player in the game just to use in this tournament. We'll see. There's all important changes in just a second of what has come on here. What do you think has been the biggest difference though for FNATIC? Because they've come into the knockout play as just such a different team. Maybe the winter break was the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, genuinely. I'm not even too sure. I felt as if in the group stage, of course, they'd done enough to get through, but they weren't at their maximum capacity with the way that they were attacking. When you associate Tekkz and Diogo, high-scoring games usually in a 1v1 situation. So they sort of didn't play in sync. Now it's as if you're watching one person play, and I think that's the best way to play 2v2.
We're back on the way. 25 minutes left of the first leg. FNATIC still in cruise control. And it has to be a different story now. Here's Joksan. 1-9 offloads to Hullet. Inside his fellow icon counterpart in the midfield, Zinedine Zidane. Building up nicely, those tactical changes. Trying to do their best to cause a bit of upset at the back there. Alphonso Davies might be one of those changes that has just come on at left back. On the flip side for FNATIC, there is a sprinkle of foot heroes in that team. Yaya Toure, Capdevila. Two of the more popular choices in the FIFA scene this year. Done enough to earn a place in this squad. Long ball over the top, and it's just a careless pass like that that's gone out of play again. 18 minutes on the clock. Christopher Nkunku has come into the team as of late. Ryan, what does he add into this team? Yeah,
the five-star, of course, is a very key component in plays in the midfield or in offense as well. And you can see that they're playing the 4-3-2-1. So in that sequence, I think he's very effective in that formation. But we're approaching the last stages of the first leg. 20 minutes left to play. I think for complexity, they're changing, well, they're using a different formation than they played on Monday. Maybe they're looking to try and nullify FNATIC with their approach, or maybe try and get a goal back into this game, because I know that they're very comfortable using the 4-4-2, which has worked very well for them.
And 2-0 is that scoreline, Ryan, which is dangerous at both sides.
Of course, yeah. You don't want to concede because, in FNATIC's perspective anyway, you don't want to concede because, again, it's a lifeline back into the game. They're sort of riding that wave of a boost in morale, which will potentially lead to them coming back into it. But, again, when you're 2-0 up, you don't want to take your foot off the gas. We saw what they've done to RB Leipzig on Monday, where they kept prodding forward. They kept pushing to try and get that third goal, that fourth goal, that fifth goal, and it led to a completely dominant scoreline.
Hello, Vieira. Thought for a second he was going to go for an acrobatic effort there, Ryan.
Yeah, that cross whipped him in from deep. Competitive scene, we call it the German cross, where you trigger a run with your centre midfielders or your centre backs all the way up the pitch, and then it's a whipped cross in. Usually leads to an easy chance if the run isn't tracked there, but it wasn't meant to be that time for complexity.
Great interception again. FNATIC being so good at this high press up the field. Yeah, Toure. Just the CDM will be pretty much everywhere on the pitch where he needs to be. Ronaldinho finds Tekkz now, then Mbappe. She runs into the brick wall of Ruud Hullet. Still plenty of time for complexity to try and turn this around. But if they go 3-0 down, they get the RB Leipzig treatment. It'll be a very different and ugly semi-final here. Yaya Toure again now. This is FNATIC, lovely pass. Punch into the feet of R9, Tekkz. Tries his best to outsmart Cafu there, no way round that time. no space really in the midfield. Pele's had to drop deep to get on the ball.
Yeah, I think FNATIC are doing really well in pulling their attacking players back as we see another cross whipped in.
Could be a chance. Great save, Van der Sar. Still not fully dealt with. He's just offside. Hullet.
Incredible goalkeeper movement as well to anticipate where the header was going to be angled. As we said, I believe it would have been offside anyway, so it wouldn't really have too much implication on the scoreline, or wouldn't have any at all. But I was just speaking about the way FNATIC are defending. They're defending as a unit, bringing players back in, not dragging players out of position, as we saw with their second goal, contrary to Complexity, who pulled out a centre-back there, which did lead to the open gaps in defence. Just being structured, being disciplined, I think is very hard to do at this level. And they're doing it really, really well so far.
It's a massive part of 2v2 FIFA, isn't it, Ryan? You have to be on the same wavelength all times. Again, Tekkz picks up the ball with Ronaldinho. And they've got 1 minute of additional time. If they want to go forward again, I don't know if they'll have enough time to play the last attack. I think they might just about do so. Referee pulls it back for a free kick. That could be taken quickly. Here's Hullet with Tekkz. Chance, goal!
Wow. Wow.
Quick instincts from FNATIC that may have just given them the biggest of advantages. Headed into the second leg.
That is a huge goal. That's something that, again, that's something that's been updated with a recent patch for the quick free kicks. And the green time finish, it sort of caught Joksan and MaXe off guard, and Complexity found themselves 3-0 down going into the second leg.
Well, it was just there, wasn't it? The free kick was there to be taken quickly. Yeah, just for a split second, the run was there, and Complexity just could not react to it. We said the next goal would be everything. And I tell you now, it is an absolute mountain to climb for Complexity. They are past 2v2 world champions, but this time they're going to have a huge job to do. We're off for a quick break. When we get back, will that question be answered? We'll have to wait and see. Well, welcome back to London for the EA Sports Cup finals. You are joining us for the final four. Myself, Brandon Smith, and Ryan Pessoa guiding you through our first semi-final. If you missed the first leg, Ryan, well, it's safe to say it's a bit of a mountain to climb, though, isn't it, for Complexity? Because they're 3-0 down, but this is how it happened.
Yeah, this was the start from Complexity. It was very bright. There was a few chances. I felt as if that was taken first time there with Weerd, Hullet, it would have been 1-0 to the good for Complexity, but after that it was pretty much one way at FNATIC, as we see the green timed header from FNATIC Diogo with the Pele item to put it in the back of the net. We saw them come forward again here. This was another chance. It wasn't meant to be. The touch was slightly too heavy, but it was great goalkeeping to bring him out to nullify and close down the angles. But this is where I felt as if just stepping out there with Van Dijk left space, open space for Jairzinho, and it was a green time finish in at the near post from FNATIC Tekkz.
Yeah, you don't give Tekkz those opportunities, and that was 2-0. This was the best chance out in the second half. Brilliant goalkeeper movement, and then this moment here is what determined how the game would end. 90+1 on the clock. Think fast, think quick. That is what FNATIC did. R9 gets fouled. Watch this. Diogo, quick free kick into Tekkz. Lovely piece of trickery there just to pull away from his man. Notice something about all of those goals they scored? They were all-time green.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a key component in the highest level in FIFA competitive season. But we take a look at the stats here. The possession was very equal. Of course, the expected goals as well, slightly in favor of FNATIC, despite the scoreline being as resounding as 3-0. But yeah, not much to separate them.
And just on that, Ryan, as well, you look at the stats there at the end of the game. There are 2 chances. One of those was a chip that the goalkeeper got a hand on. One of them was a cross into the box, and unfortunately, again, superb goalkeeper movement.
Yeah, I thought that was offside, but I was wrong.
The problem is now, Ryan, is that they have to go and score 3 goals. They have to go and make more chances. How are they going to do that against this FNATIC side that defensively has only conceded 7 goals up to this point? We are talking across group stage, quarterfinals, a team that looks just so well drilled.
Yep, it's going to be a tough task, an extremely tough task, of course, for Complexity. They need to get 3 goals, and I think they might maybe approach the second leg slightly different than the first.
Well, as we know, Complexity have rich history in 2v2 FIFA, Ryan. They put this tweet out earlier today before a ball was kicked here. Today is the day. All of that time, the effort and the energy that Joksan and MaXe have poured into perfecting their craft gets put to the test against some of the best in the world. Notice that part of that, some of the best in the world. Are they playing the best in the world?
It's hard to argue against it right now, but again, they have to get their hands on the trophy first before we can say that. But in my opinion, they're playing like you'd associate their game style as the best team in the world, if I'm being completely honest. I feel as if they're playing at their peak, and their peak is going to be very difficult to beat, whether the scoreline is 0-0, let alone being 3 goals down. But we've seen in FIFA scorelines being overturned. We saw in the group stage a fantastic game between FUTWIZ and RB Leipzig, where there was a 4-goal deficit overturned. Now they've got now they've got an extra 45 minutes to even try and get back into the game. But I feel as if they're gonna need to change something, whether it's a formation change, tactical change, press after possession loss, press on heavy touch. I think it's too early to go constant press, but they need to do something different.
Before this game does get kicked off, we got you involved before the game started. FNATIC or Complexity? I'll ask you the question again. I know the scoreline is 3-0 to FNATIC. Is there a way back in this for Complexity? Who are you backing to take that first grand final spot, that first FIFA Club World Cup spot? Let us know in the Twitch and YouTube chat which team you're backing if there was to be a comeback. I mean, who else would it be other than Complexity? Past 2v2 world champions, but this FNATIC side that's had the Christmas break, that's come back into knockout play. And how about this for a stat? 11 goals scored, 1 conceded in knockout play. That is unbelievable. And this is when the money's on the line, Ryan. The pressure's on the line.
It just goes to show how good they are, I'll be honest. You're speaking about that many goals and that few conceded against 2 of the top teams in this competition as they start off pushing forward already here.
Diogo there. Showing how confident he is. Keep an eye on those little player cursors again. You may hear us reference the FIFA pros as goals are scored and moments of magic do happen. The individual player icons you can just see in the left and right bottom corner of your screen, the colour indicators. MaXe and Joksan with that teal green and navy blue on the flip side. There's Tekkz there winning back the ball nicely. With that red icon above his head every time he gets onto the ball. Yaya Toure. And that instant was Diogo.
I think for FNATIC here, the key is, despite them being 3 goals down, they don't need to shut up shop and put everybody behind the ball and just pass around the back. I think that would invite pressure. I think the key for them is just to keep pushing forward, dictate the tempo, slow it down a little bit, so it sort of forces Complexity to panic where the clock's ticking. They think that they might need to push a few more bodies forward, which of course then leads to more gaps being opened up that they could capitalize on. But Complexity, I'd say they need a goal by half-time. I don't think, even if it reaches half-time and it's 0-0, I don't think that's over yet. But I think just to give that boost of confidence to think, all right, there's a chink in the armor, we can score. Let's do it 2 more times and get back into it.
Oh, here's a chance. Joksan early doors. Oh no, the shot wasn't timed. You saw the white icon just pop up above Mbappe's head. What a chance squandered for Mbappe. And as we were building up the potential comeback, just to sort of put that seed of doubt in the mind of FNATIC, that chance gone.
That was it. I feel as if that was the chance I was speaking about, where you'd expect it to hit the back of the net. Of course, even without green timing it, I think that should find the back of the net. I don't believe there was any goalkeeper movement. I could be wrong, but I feel as if that's very unlucky to not find the back of the net.
Well, this is where FNATIC can punish you on the opposite side. Tekkz in control of Yaya Toure. Fancied an interesting effort from 30+ yards away from goal. What an opportunity this is for FNATIC as well, especially after last year. They were in that Team of the Season Cup, finished top 6 in the end, but they knew the storyline there was that, yes, there was a load of cash on the line, but there was a fast-track ticket to the FIFA Club World Cup. They came so close to it. 1 year on, they're back in the hunt in the nicest way possible, about 17 game minutes away from claiming one of those money can't buy tickets. Here's Mbappe. Joksan wins a corner. can we see from the corner? See Huller there being controlled towards the front post. Played short. Maybe recycled it instead. Oh no, that's terrible. Possession lost again. Given back to FNATIC. Corners are a tricky one. I know how important they were yesterday. We hear there was a recent update in the game which might affect how successful they will be today.
Yeah, but of course that's going to play in the minds of all teams involved and all players involved in how they take the corner. I think with the recent live tuning update, it's probably beneficial to play it short because, of course, the previous methods might not be as successful as they previously were. So I guess just having the comfort of passing it short, well, it didn't work out in that sense anyway for Complexity as they gave away possession.
It's been a better first 30 so far for the American-based esports organisation. Fortunately, though, they might have had a more possession on the ball. Nothing to show on the scoreline. This will be exactly what FNATIC want, Ryan. Just that clock ticking down. They got a 3-goal cushion. Third of this game pretty much already gone. Here's Pele. Zinio and R9 are in the box. Maybe not the best aerial options. Pull it on the edge. Tekkz looking to run past the fellow Dutch player and Virgil van Dijk. No way through there again. As I was saying, a third of this game gone. FNATIC still in cruise control.
Oh,
terrible. Missed pass there. Van Dijk's out of position. Mbappe's charged in the box. Tekkz in control towards that back post.
I was going to say, look at the back post there. It could have led to an opportunity. It didn't find its way there, of course, but it's just gifting possession away. I think a few, of course, in that sense, it's very unlucky. They can't really do much about that, where the Van Dijk's just sort of just evaded the ball, so they can't do much in that. But there have been situations there where it feels as if it's slightly rushed, which is the situation I was talking about at the start of the leg. When you're 3 goals down and the clock's ticking, if you don't get that early goal, you feel as if you need to rush forward. You need a goal, so you have to pass forward. But when you do that, you give away possession very easily, and it just feeds into FNATIC's hands.
FNATIC just moving the ball so well here. Half of the game already gone, near enough. Pele reversal has to go. Couple of ball roll step overs in there. Tekkz in control of R9. Brilliant feed from Tekkz. Nearly put it on a plate for his teammate who was just waiting around the 6-yard box. When does it get to the point, Ryan, where they just have to go for it?
I'd say from at half-time, of course, you have to set up the tactic of going constant press if they don't have it already. But I'd say 55th, 60th minute. But that piece of play there from FNATIC's Tekkz and Diogo was incredible. They always pick the right skill moves at the right time.
Complexity chance, Ronaldinho, Joksan, he went for the extra fake shot. Was it needed?
It wasn't, and he was there as well if they could play that extra pass to Captain. But of course, it's very easy to say that when you're playing and you're tunnel visioned into having that moment, but it's just nearlies all the time rather than concrete goals. That could have been a chance there.
2 massive chances in the half, Ryan, for Complexity. That Mbappe chance where the shot just wasn't timed and it went left of Van der Sar's post, then that chance there. You said there was an extra pass. Again, we can easily sit here in the commentary booth and say in hindsight, but there was also that extra little fake shot there, which ideally was trying to just bypass the defender. Unfortunately, that wasn't to happen. With 45 minutes to play, the pressure must be so high now for Complexity. As we said, you lose, you're out the tournament. It's as simple as that. There's no third place playoff in this tournament. Time to go, I think, for Complexity.
Yeah, I feel as if they need to push forward because, again, I'm going to take a look at the stats here. Possession, of course, is favouring FNATIC, more so than in the first leg. The XG, though, on Complexity, 0.8. Those 2 chances, the first one specifically should have been a goal. I feel as if you green times that, if you compare it to FNATIC's goals, all of them were green time. You green time that, it hits the back of the net. And, of course, you give yourself a higher chance to score. But just, yeah, maybe it's just a slight lack of composure for Complexity. But Joksan and MaXe are fantastic players, so they do have the potential to get back into this game. But they're coming up against a team, for me, they're just playing on a different level to everyone else right now.
Well, look, for being honest, in these games, Ryan, you're going to be getting 2-3 chances maximum across the whole game. You mentioned it perfectly there. FNATIC, they time-greened everything. Yeah. Everything was perfect in those massive moments, and unfortunately for Complexity, when they've needed to be perfect in those 1 or 2 moments today, they just lack that time finish, that extra bit of composure in the box. By any means, it's not done yet. But still, 40 minutes to play. We've still got a lot to unfold here. As we just get this small technical pause sorted out for you guys. As we were saying there at home, you know, you're looking at some of the best 2v2 FIFA players literally in the world here with this EA Sports Cup. Top 4 players, it really will come down to those small details in the game. Here's Mbappe now for Tekkz. We get back underway. Jorginho. Yeah, Torre inside. Here's Diogo now with R9. Mbappe, Tekkz, easy, surely, great save, Anderson. What a save that could be.
Oh, it's a wonderful running fake shot as well there from Tekkz. You don't really see that too often, just to bring it to a slightly better angle to take the shot across goal. But that's a big save. That's something that maybe could give them a slice of confidence, thinking that, all right, our keeper's made a big save now. We need to push on and just force FNATIC into mistakes here, but it's complex. Ooh.
That's a massive win. It's a massive chance. MaXe! Goal! Game on!
That's the mistake I was talking about, Brandon. That's the one there.
And to be honest, when the ball fell into Mbappe, I thought it is Mbappe, but the angle there was still tough to finish him. But the French striker said, yes, please. You said there was a mistake coming. There was the mistake, and suddenly Complexity have just got that little bit of belief, haven't they?
Yep, of course. It's very difficult to defend against constant press where you're sort of pinned in your half. You've got a lot of offensive players that are squeezing in against your defensive line. So it's very difficult to play out of possession, which FNATIC have been very good at doing. But it's difficult now in this situation. Of course, 3-1 down now. It's a 2-goal deficit. Complexity, I think, will need to push forward again just to try and get that second goal here. But it's a huge goal.
So we believe Complexity just made that pause there. If you're in the seat of the pros, are you changing back to, say if they did change out, are you changing back, or you keep it, are you going more further attacking here?
It's tough to say, I'll be honest, because you always look back at the end of the game thinking, if I had changed, maybe this would have happened. You just have to make a decision and stick with it and just not, I guess, overcomplicate it. But it's, for me, I don't know. I think I would change back just because I don't want to leave too many spaces. But I wouldn't go back to the original thing. I would just potentially just come off constant press.
It's so difficult here now for Complexity. They have to be perfect, not just going forward, but defensively, because if naturally they do go and press and put more bodies forward to go and get the game, FNATIC score 1 goal. All that belief, all that hope of pulling the game back is gone in seconds. Played by Cafu. Comes all the way over from right back there. Interesting to see how Complexity have just shaken up that team. Maybe a 3 at the back. Just to be potentially in use. Cafu on the left-hand side now of the 3. 29 minutes left to play. Zidane finds Pele. Joksan was in control of R9 there, but he was just completely bullied off the ball. He had Maldini moving down the back of his neck. You can see on the flip side there, Ryan, Complexity just drops back into a back 5.
Yeah. It's a very structured formation in the fact that you defend in a 5, you attack, having so many options going forward. So I know a lot of 2v2 teams do use the 3-4-2-1 just as their standard formation, just to create the overloads when you pin your opponent's defensive line back. But we've got 25 minutes or so left to play for FNATIC to try and see if they can hold out this game, and for Complexity to push forward to try and get 2 more goals.
Obviously, we can see the difference in setups there. Is there ever a chance or ever a time in the winning moments you just match your opponent up, or?
In this situation, I wouldn't say so. I think FNATIC are using a 4-2-3-1. Of course, for Complexity, there's no need to match it, and for FNATIC, there's no need to play 3 at the back. They're comfortable. They're in the lead. They know that they can keep possession, or try to, with the mindset of Complexity have to push forward. They have to close the lines. They have to put bodies forward, drag players out of position, to try and force you to go forward and make a mistake so they can retrieve possession easier. So I just stick to what FNATIC have been doing best throughout not just today, not just on Monday, but throughout the whole of the group stage.
Well, then 25 minutes left to play. A couple of changes for Complexity. They've continuously made changes, tactically, personnel-wise. De Bruyne. Sabi also come on, brilliantly done there by Tekkz on this right-hand side, but Cafu, he looks to just find that one more goal, or if not, take more time out the game. Poor pass, couldn't find Hullet. I should say Jarzinia. Goal before the 80th minute. Might set up a really crazy last 10. Winner of this looks a spot in the grand final. This year's EA Sports Cup alongside tickets to the FIFA E-World Cup finals. They missed months of online qualification. You get a fast-track ticket to the LAN event. Which takes place towards the end of this year. De Bruyne, fresh off the bench, looking to make his impact. Pele, great feed, this is Joksan. Joksan still with Pele, is there a cutback available? He tried to ball inside, corner. So many pauses, Ryan. Yeah. What's happening in these pauses constantly? Just a little break, a little chat.
It's interesting well, we don't really know about who's queued the pause, because I know if I was FNATIC, I'd probably queue a pause there as well, just try and take the sting out of the game, slow the game down a little bit. But for Complexity, of course, that pause could come in at a good moment. They can speak to their coach behind them, try and get some insight on what potentially they could change to try and come back into it, because, again, there's still 20 minutes left to go. So all it takes is a goal maybe in the next 10 minutes, and you'll find a nervy last 10 minutes to end the game.
And that pause comes in, we've seen countless amounts in the second league. You can understand why. So much money and pressure, and obviously that ticket, as we said, to the FIFA Club World Cup of the Line. These little mini conversations, what could they be? You've been there yourself.
Yeah, I think it's just about, well, of course, for me anyway, you'd have your teammate, your coaches telling you just to keep calm, keep your composure, because it's very easy to get tunnel visioned in, and sort of a slight lapse in concentration could be enough to concede a goal, as we see the corner again played short this time.
Short, not into the box directly. Or will there still be a way through? No, there isn't. Possession given away. 15 minutes left now. FNATIC still leading Complexity 3-1. Semi-final number 1. And look, they can be in. A serious chance. Picking up the trophy with the form they've shown here. Diogo there, very clever with Ronaldinho. Extra 2 or 3 in-game minutes taken out the game, and now look, there's the gaps that will naturally appear. They just try and maybe pick him off to find that killer blow, that killer goal. Ronaldinho numbers in the box, loads of FNATIC shirts. They're not silly though, they don't need to rush into the box, they've already got a 2-goal cushion. So hard defensively, isn't it? You don't know if they're coming to attack, you don't know if they're coming to score, or they're just going back out the other way. Even more time taken out the game, 8 minutes left. From a grand final for FNATIC.
This is great defensive play. This is very smart game management, just resorting to keeping possession, of course. See pauses queued in, and we mentioned there's been so many. I think that would have been a pause for Complexity queued, but there's none left. So they have to rely on what they have on the pitch right now to try and get that goal. That's a big challenge there from FNATIC's Diogo.
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough time left now. Tekkz does so well. The referee says he won the ball fair and square. Joksan and MaXe running out of ideas, running out of time. Mbappe back to Fonzo Davies, of all people, who's now found himself as a centre forward for the time being. Very well managed. This is a team that's been together for quite some time now. That ball goes out of play, and we go back into another pause.
I'd be very shocked if we do see 2 goals from Complexity in this short space of time. As you said, the game management for the last 10 minutes or so has been extremely professional from FNATIC, where there were options they could have gone down the line, could have crossed it back post for potentially another chance, but they didn't want to take the risk. They know they're leading by 2 goals. They can sort of rest on that and just keep possession and just not give Complexity any hope to come back into this game.
Well, it would need a FIFA miracle. We know how much time's left in this game. Real lifetime, seconds. Complexity. Had to make something happen there, if we're being completely honest. A minute left plus additional time. FNATIC, they might not have topped their group. They might have lost a game to Movistar Riders, and they might not have been the cleanest of group stage run-ins, but one thing they did have was 2 top players defensively that were incredible. And since coming back after the winter break, this team has just improved and gone through the gears. They will take the first ticket to the FIFA Club World Cup alongside $35,000. FNATIC are in the grand finals of the EA Sports Cup.
That is a huge win for Tekkz and Diogo. He points to his head there. Great game management. It was a great first leg from FNATIC, and that sort of won them the game, in essence. The first leg was enough to see out the result. Of course, commiserations to Complexity, though, Brandon. They've done incredibly well to reach this stage. They've shown the world that they deserve to be on the biggest stages of all.
And I'll say, watch out for them in the FIFA Club World Cup. Yes, they might have to go the long way now via qualification, but you think what a team that will make them into as well, going the long way around. FNATIC, though, are in the grand final. As we said, Complexity, unfortunately, will cruise out the tournament. A top 4 finish. And one thing that hasn't been mentioned enough, they're the only team outside of Europe that made a top 8 finish.
Yep, exactly. As I said, they should be proud. They've done themselves incredibly well, and they've shown their ability. They've beaten some top names. They've taken some scouts along the way. As we said, they still have the E-Club World Cup qualifiers coming up to try and get that spot. But FNATIC do have that secured in spot. That E-Club World Cup spot secured in place. So, of course, they don't need to play that. But I think their focus now is on the final rather than that.
Defensively, though, Ryan, one goal conceded against RB Leipzig. That's Anders and Umit. And then against previous 2v2 world champions, 1 goal conceded over 2 legs. They're just so in sync, aren't they, them two? You can see they've been putting in the hours, FNATIC, and the performances they've been bringing out in the knockouts is superb. Yeah,
as I said, it looks as if you're watching one player play rather than 2v2. They're perfectly in sync.
As we said, FNATIC are in the grand final. We still have another semi-final to come up. But before we do, it's over to Rachel, Mike, and Richard before we jump into that.
I think I'm going to delete the tweet I put out, which said Complexity are going to win the whole thing. No, let me just put my phone back in my pocket
was
there.
That a tweet that you put out?
That was a tweet I put out before. We were asked our predictions. I said Complexity. I was going with Mike LaBelle here. He was so confident how they've been performing the last couple of weeks that I was backing the North American side. But after that matchup, FNATIC, I think I'm just going to change my tweet to them. I mean, Rich.
I'll have you know, Richard Buckley did tweet out FNATIC are going to win the EA Sports Cup. You
we
can
also
see that
tweeted
tweet.
out Complexity as well.
No, no
You're
tweet.
just tweeting
No,
everywhere.
tweet. No, tweet.
Yeah,
well, one tweet.
Double predictions.
One tweet said FNATIC.
Okay.
We can pull it up. I don't mind. We
Only
can pull it up,
conceded, guys. 2 goals as well did FNATIC in the quarterfinals and now the semi-finals. Booked themselves a spot in the FIFA E-Club World Cup, like we said. Massive tick box there. Why have they been so good, Mike LaBelle?
I feel like we're looking at a new team. We saw them have moments of being really brilliant earlier on in the season. Had some in-between times as well, but right now, based on what we saw with Leipzig and now this follow-up matchup, they're scoring a lot of goals, they're not conceding goals, you don't need a big breakdown on that. They're getting the job done. Their play's too consistent. A lot of holding of the ball as well. I think they could have approached that second leg differently. They were rather safe, and they got the job done in terms of protecting what they already had established in the first leg.
I think Ryan said it on commentary, and it resounded. Resonated? It was a resounding comment. A resounding comment that resonated with me, and it was the fact that there's 2 players, but it could be 1.
Yeah.
Spy skills, 2 become 1. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are so clean together. They're playing on the same page.
And they're so in sync as well. I think we saw that on Monday in the quarterfinals. Diogo sits back when Tekkz is doing his thing and vice versa. And they're really relaxed and confident in each other's ability. Let's have a look at the highlights and see how they did it today. It was 3-1 in the end. All the goals, though, from FNATIC came in leg 1. That's because Complexity changed their tactics. Talk to us about these goals, Mike.
Well, you see some of the early build-up, and it's got to be said, Complexity had chances. They didn't finish their opportunities, and then they made a few defensive mistakes that were maybe out of characteristic here, or what we've been seeing throughout the tournament. As you see the opening goal here, time green, and that was also a theme. Everything was time green and very efficient from FNATIC. And if they're going to take their opportunities, they're going to take those chances, as you do see a great goalkeeper pull out here with Van der Sar. They're going to be difficult to beat because defensively, and then as you were kind of saying with them being aligned, especially with closing out games, this is a huge mistake. We're going to review this again shortly, but you're splitting the defense way too much space. You're talking about the best players in the world all on one shared pit or one shared stage. You can't have that happen to you.
I mean, let's talk about the second leg, though. Obviously, they couldn't score in the second leg. Complexity there, they did the press, they kind of shut them down. If whoever they face in the final do that, are we going to see a very different game?
Yes, potentially. I just want to draw a fact to this, because this is genius. It was
Brilliant.
only actually sort of patched recently in the game, the ability to take that short free kick, and boy, did they use it to effect. Going back to your question, Rachel, I think there is an element to get to them. I think you've got to score first. I think you need to put them under pressure. Both games that we've seen, the quarterfinal and the semi-final.
You can't miss that, Rich.
You can't miss that.
It comes down to being clinical to a certain degree here. Complexity could have made this interesting.
Opportunities missed.
They kind of clicked on a little bit late, but it was just too late.
What'd you put that down to?
They're known to be slow starters. Maybe there's some nerves, though. When I look at you missing 1v1s, you're missing some opportunities that you would have finished in a different situation. Maybe the moment got to them a little bit. And then a lot of credit has to be given again to FNATIC, especially some of their late game work. They closed out this match pretty well. They took away a lot of the chances. They made sure that they had the ball. And then the best friend, or the worst enemy in this case, could be the clock. And I felt like we were all watching here, it was tense. You felt the clock was winding down. They were running out of time.
And we do say, don't we, I guess, like, every game is completely different. You might see them turn up on Monday and not able to turn up again. We know the patch has changed, the meta's changed since Monday. That could come into effect as well. But they did just look so much more nervous than FNATIC Complexity did, in my opinion, watching their facial expressions throughout that match.
Yeah, I think they did. And I think as soon as they started missing chances, they started overthinking the chances then that they'd missed. They were probably thinking back. There was a fake shot in there which seemed very unnecessary. The one thing that I want to end on this little conversation about FNATIC and Complexity, FNATIC we know can blow teams away. We've seen the stats, we've seen the performances where they just destroy teams. Leipzig, perfect example. They're not conceding. They're keeping it really tight at the back, and as I said, you've got to put them under pressure. You have to score first. You have to put them in a situation that they're uncomfortable in.
Can I quickly say, Mendes there, he doesn't forget, is the beef completely over now? Is the unfinished business now finished?
This is maybe the most focused I've seen Diogo in a while.
Yeah.
Well, let's see, I'll have to ask him later with Kyle. But Mike, I know you mentioned it throughout the highlights there. You've got something else you want to break down in this, our analysis presented by PlayStation Tournaments.
And we had a few key moments, Rachel, and I really like this goal just because you have a split here, puts the defenders out of position, and this is a huge mistake from Complexity. Whenever you give up that amount of space, the fullback's on the wrong end of this, you got Jarzino, and you see the two defenders again. You're creating this massive gap, and this is textbook, real football, virtual football. And then I love this slight hesitation with Jarzino. That's just to read the goalkeeper. You see this done at the pro level time and time again. The goalkeepers are going to move and they're going to groove. They take a bit of a 50-50. You hesitate, you wait for it, time perfectly, green, top corner. And it just shows that you're confident, you're comfortable, you're cozy, you've got the composure that is necessary. I'm using all sorts of C words. I know alliteration.
Can I also just jump in? I'm getting on the analysis. It was very late to switch player. If you notice the player's positions, the red and the yellow icon, it should have been much quicker switching to that player at the top of the pitch.
Too many mistakes there caused them to be undone by FNATIC. One quick point I noticed, we'll talk about that later as well. FNATIC are the only team left in it who don't have a coach, which again, for me, just shows how... I know who Wes is. Shout out to Wes. I'm good mates
with Wes. He's coaching, he's editing videos, he's uploading content for them.
He's not coaching, though. He's very much a silent party, member of this party. Anyway, let's move on. Let's have a look at the bracket then and see how it looks going into our second semi-final. FNATIC then have booked the spot in the final and also a place at the FIFA E Club World Cup Finals. Who's going to join them? Team FUTWIZ or Ninjas in Pyjamas? Team Hullet? They're the two teams left, still with a chance of getting into that final spot. This one's exciting, I'm going to say. Question quickly to Mike, which Richard I think I know is going to already kind of go against what I'm about to say. Best ever Team FUTWIZ partnership we've seen?
Oh, easily the best that they've had in the career of FUTWIZ with 2v2s. I would also even go individually with what Ethan, specifically more so Ethan, but NiKSNEB as well. I think where they're trending and their trajectory. You name a better 2v2 duo from FUTWIZ.
Look, we're going to be commentating this game. I'm going to save it for the commentary.
Should I just let these two debate that amongst themselves while we go into this next massive semi-final? Team FUTWIZ, Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pyjamas. This is a massive matchup for a spot in the finals and a place at the FIFA E Club World Cup. Those two are off as well to commentate for you next. EA Sports Cup is presented by PlayStation Tournaments.
Compete in PlayStation tournaments. Win your share of cash prizes, FIFA points, and more as you face off in FUT and club competitions. Sign up for weekly and monthly tournaments on your PS4 console or at compete.playstation.com to test your skills on the pitch. Think you have what it takes?
PlayStation. Hello and welcome back. Yes, if you think you've got what it takes, make sure you sign up. Maybe one day you'll be on this stage as well. Right, it's time to find out who'll be joining FNATIC in our grand final. Let's introduce our next two teams out. Our first team, the team that silenced all doubters with the quarter-final victory over the reigning 2v2 champions Atleti Riders. Please welcome Team FUTWIZ. Now guys, you have been here before. We know what you can do on the big stage, but once again, a huge opportunity for you both. What can we expect in this next matchup?
Attacking football, hopefully. I guess we didn't get to show it against Movistar, but yeah, we can show what we're fully about in attacking. And yeah.
You're not scared of anyone in this competition, especially not your opponents tonight?
No, of course not. I think we can take on anyone and hopefully we get through this game and into the grand final.
Let's see what happens. Go and get yourselves ready. Good luck for that one. Let's go straight in. Standing in Team FUTWIZ's way, a superstar duo who secured their spot here tonight with a 4-3 win over Focus. Please welcome TG.NIP. He's mixing it up right there. Is Ollelito getting ready for his semi-final tonight alongside, of course, your partner. Ollelito, I'm going to come to you first though, just very quickly on this one. Huge matchup. Team FUTWIZ have said that they are not afraid of anyone. How are you feeling for this?
No, I think it's the same for us. We are not afraid of anyone. We feel very confident at the moment. I mean, going far here is just a confidence booster, right? So we just take game by game and hopefully we can get into the grand final.
They've said they expect some attacking football. Does that mean that we're going to see you guys on the defence, or are you going to go out there and attack as well?
No, obviously we want to attack, but if we need to defend and scrap the win, we are also happy with that.
Levi, Ollelito, good luck for this one. Go and get yourselves ready. Our second semi-final is on its way. We can see that the countdown timer is here. Let's get across to Mike and Rich to get this one underway for us.
Thank you very much, Kyle. And before we get underway with this game, we've got a conversation that we need to carry on.
I need to finish what we were discussing. It was bothering me. If you don't think this is the best FUTWIZ duo ever, all right, I'm thinking back. We've got Marco, we've got Jamie, we've got Honey Badger.
Yes,
I like that. This is easily the best duo, and I would even say with what Ethan's been able to accomplish, just had FGS1, I think like this could easily be the top run here. I would argue, I'm just saying.
I've got one name for you. I'm sure he's watching at home. I think Lyrics, 2020, FGS 1 or 2 in Bucharest. He made it to the console final.
So you would take Lyrics.
And I think it's very close. Okay. It's very close. Okay. One thing that I was very, very impressed with from Team FUTWIZ was their quarter-final performance, because they showed their different side. They showed their defensive capabilities. It was against Atleti Riders, and we can have a look to see how that game did pan out right here. Mike, you were watching this game. What were you most impressed with Team FUTWIZ?
Just beat the current world champions. Another just mention that we should throw out there, and I love this goal from them, working the end line. And this was more of a Atleti Riders, so the fact that FUTWIZ was able to adapt and beat them kind of at their own game, I was super impressed with. It's so difficult to go up against the likes of Tuga and Doni, the best organized duo that we've seen, and they're so good on the defensive end. They see out so many different matches. They have a lot of versatility. They understand tactics better than almost anyone, and this is the goal that puts them ahead. It's going to be a little double La Croqueta, maybe a little bit of some good fortune there as he busts through across the body, top corner, best corner that they push on.
Were you surprised? We can see the reaction there from the final minute. Were you surprised there wasn't a bigger reaction from Team FUTWIZ, or is it this is business?
Well, I wanted to ask. I saw the shush, which I didn't expect to see from Ethan at one point, so I felt like maybe there was more of a personal story that I didn't have the background.
We'll have to wait and see. Their opponents here tonight in the semi-finals, Team Hullet Ninjas in pajamas. Arguably one of the most consistent teams in the FIFA landscape, and they showed us why on Monday night. This was a game that maybe we didn't expect to see it pan out this way. Focus Clan didn't get going in the first leg, Mike.
Not necessarily, but that's how FIFA works. Sometimes second leg things shift a little bit. It got a little more involved in terms of the havoc. I kind of wrote this off at one point saying TG.NIP had closed out the game, but Focus started the battle. It was just too late, maybe too little, and they already had enough in the tank, so to speak, in terms of having a little bit of that added cushion. But
goal of the day?
One of those games, I love a long shot. I don't know if I'm going to give it goal of the day. We saw some skill move sessions yesterday that maybe they just talked to me a little bit more. It was more of a conversation pace or a conversation piece for yours truly.
It was a message to you directly.
That's
to
what I thought. Like, it was meant for me.
Okay. Well,
we had triple and quadruple skill move sessions. That was just for me. Cancellations, I get excited.
Are we going to say in this game right now? I mean, we know that both teams have the capability to do that. I think Team FUTWIZ yesterday, they had to play to the pace of Athletic Riders. It wasn't their quick, sort of frantic start, plenty of goals, plenty of attacking movement. It was a little bit slower. The game was a little bit more methodical. Are we going to see a similar story right now?
I'm interested. And I'm more so interested in maybe what TG.NIP has put together in terms of a tactical approach. We always talk about Renzo, their coach, but I just know I couldn't get a hold of Levi. I couldn't get a hold of Ollelito. They were in the room studying, watching footage on footage on footage and rewatching this and adjusting that. So I want to see what they're going to bring to the table.
Could be a very quick start here for Team FUTWIZ. Ronaldinho right down that left-hand side, looking to exploit Cafu. Going to give you the intel right off the top if you want to keep up to date with the individual cursors of the players. Red will be Ethan, yellow will be NiKSNEB, and the darker blue Ollelito. The Dutchman, Levi de Weerd, will be your teal light blue. FUTWIZ kicking from left to right in that FUTWIZ strip. Chance here for Team FUTWIZ, great save from Van der Sar.
And we're already seeing a much different tempo and pace to the game in comparison to when FUTWIZ went up against Athletic Riders. And we said that pace probably wouldn't benefit them. It really wasn't the way that they like to express themselves in the game. But we did also see them have to try to counteract the three at the back. And we've been seeing that three at the back. It's dangerous. You have those overlapping runners. So much more space, and it just allows you a little more time on the ball. You can control what happens and when it happens.
It was a brutal three at the back as well. It transformed into a 7 at times. It was so hard to try and break down for the black and green of Team FUTWIZ. Team Hullet Ninja in pyjamas through Levi de Weerd in Jarzinho. Mbappe! Van der Sar tipping it around the post.
Both goalkeepers looking active. That's a good sign. And we're not going to see direct corner kicks anymore. There was a patch that came out yesterday. And we used to see a lot of direct corners, and everybody's taking it short. Got to say, everybody's taking it short now, and they're going for more of the recycle and resurface.
Chance here for Mbappe on the edge of the box. Curled it just wide of the post. You were talking about that corner sort of live tuning. I can tell you right now what it was if you did miss it. Slightly reducing the velocity of the ball when hit from fully powered corner kicks, and also moderately increase the elevation in which the ball travels when hit from fully powered corners. So that ability just to whip it in low and hard and try and get a flick on, gone.
I was going to say we had limited whippage, but you took the words out of my mouth.
Chance here for Team FUTWIZ. Powered into the stride of Pele, and Ethan will open up the scoring for Team FUTWIZ.
And they're looking confident. They're going with it direct. This is a beautiful splitting pass. You're going to have that R1. It's a little more whipped in, has a little bit of that extra pace that we talk about with the passing. Speeds it up, turn, burn, and then you finish. You got the right player at the right moment in the right position. Pele does the deed.
It was great work out wide as well from NiKSNEB. He was down in the corner, a couple of skill moves, pulling players out of position. How important is it to be that sort of assist maker, to pull people out of position, to give your teammate the easy strike on goal?
The more and more that we look at 2v2 FIFA as well.
Chance here for Team Hullet Ninja in pyjamas. Pele gets tackled. Mike, what were you saying about 2v2 FIFA?
The more that I've studied it, I'm looking at these different teams that are having success. Typically, you have one player that's more of your structured player. And in this case, that would be Ethan. And then you have your creative maestro, the cracked player, so to speak, the guy that you don't know what's coming next, and that's NiKSNEB.
Yeah, he's the man with...
You just let him go. You just figure out what you want to do, go for it.
Gold dust in the right stick. And NiKSNEB.
And if you're looking at Ollelito and Levi, Ollelito would be the structured player, and then Levi is that same guy. Final third, you just get away from him, see what he's going to pull off.
Yeah, you let him fly. You let a peacock strut his stuff. Spread out the wings. Jarzinho out wide, just trying to recycle that ball into a dangerous area where Team Hullet, and it is Ruud Hullet who misses out on the ball right there.
And we should mention with some of the new players that we're seeing in constant rotations, Cafu, I wouldn't say he's necessarily new, but he's definitely going to be a guy that's in the rotation now. We see a lot of this Hernandez. We see Ronaldinho, which makes me very happy. And these guys weren't always a sure thing if you're talking about earlier on in the year, or even in some of the competitive qualification for this event.
Yeah, I think those, especially the prime icons coming in and they're just so much better than a lot of those regular promo items. I think one of the only items that we've seen, Kylian Mbappe, the team of the tournament, has persisted in the teams, and the World Cup stories, Virgil van Dijk at the back, who seems to be among every single team. You obviously can't forget about Ruud Gullit, who is in the centre of the pack. Team Gullit's, he's the founder. 5th birthday today. They were founded 5 years ago today, were Team Gullit. Now they've got this collaboration with Ninjas in Pajamas.
Shout out to Gullit squad. He has done
Legend
many
of the scene.
things for me throughout the weekends. Had much more positive interactions throughout the weekend league and foot games. Having Ruud Gullit in the team versus not having him in the team. We also see the likes of Vieira used as a center back primarily. This year he really hasn't been able to slot into that center mid position. It's been all about Zidane.
Yeah, and I think that's because we see the centre mids having much more influence. Maybe when you were competing, or even in the last few years, you had a very two structured DMs. Now you might have one, but even both centre mids have to be involved in the attack. They have to get forward. Zidane having the 5-star ability as well just creates so much more as Ethan reverse elastico straight into the path of Virgil.
And again, that's a great almost oversight where you're almost looking off the defender there, where you're looking at the entry pass. You look to the right, you pass it to the left. Again, shows you some of that confidence that Team FUTWIZ is showing. You're seeing both sides now look to settle in and try to outthink each other. You're seeing a little more of the possession play to go with that final build-up where you're playing that game of cat and mouse. You're trying to bait people out of position. You're trying to probe for any sort of spacing.
Team like Ninja in Pajamas, seemingly they've had a couple of opportunities inside the final third, but every time they look to get into that sort of attacking phase of the play, either giving the ball away or it's getting intercepted at the moment. They're not really creating too much clear-cut opportunities. But with the beauty of two legs of FIFA, anything can happen. We've seen Team FUTWIZ in some unbelievable one-legged games. Never mind when it goes to two legs. Player lock inside the box. Ethan looking to cut it back to NiKSNEB. Very, very clever with the player lock in a duos matchup.
You took the words out of my mouth as we're heading into halftime, but in order to incorporate that, it's almost as if you have 3 players now that are being manually moved, and it is at the highest degree of pro capability to micromanage all these interactions offensively to try to create that space. And it still didn't turn out being a goal, and they did it proper.
We just see over the shoulder there of Ethan, sort of the heat maps, everything on the right-hand side at the moment for Team Ninja in Pajamas. Look at that possession just over Ethan's shoulder. Well, it's not just me and Mike who's got our eyes on this game. Our very own Kyle Walker is joined by Ryan Pessoa to get his thoughts on the first half.
Thank you, Richard. I am indeed, Ryan. Looking at Team FUTWIZ, they're leading in this one. What makes them such a strong pair?
I'd say for me, I think Ethan's very disciplined, whereas you have Jacob or NiKSNEB is he's got the flair. Offensively, he's very unpredictable around the box, so I think they merge very well together.
What have TG.NIP got to do in the next 3 halves of FIFA to ensure that they get the win?
I'd say just play their game. In my opinion, throughout the competition, I'd say their performance level has been the most consistent. I haven't seen them have a bad game. I think every game they've done really well. So, again, they have the know-how. They've got the coach behind them. So, yeah, they can come back for sure.
Right, well, let's get back into it. Plenty more FIFA 23 action coming your way. Richard, back to you.
Thank you very much, Kyle and Ryan. Great input there. I think the main message from Ryan, keep calm if you are Team Ninjas in Pajamas. They will get us underway for the second half of FIFA in the orange Netherlands strip, I believe. From left to right. No changes, it would seem, at the half-time mark in this game. There's an opportunity there to whip that in. I saw a runner moving forward from centre mid. Chance still alive for Team NiKSNEB. Zinedine Zidane, he's going to just offload it to Theo Hernandez. I imagine this might go all the way backwards and looking just to recycle.
And when you look at all these recycles, it's all about finding space and having your players kind of track back a little bit. Everybody gets caught forward. You no longer have the proper alignment for some of the tiki-taka or those triangles that are necessary, the pass and move. You kind of need that reset.
Lovely reverse pass into the path of Ronaldo Nazario. Elastico looking to get away from Virgil van Dijk. Just got a toe on it there. Ollelito was the man looking to create.
It's got to be said, fantastic ingenuity, maybe a little unlucky not to push through. Again, you looked as if you're going to make the extra pass, and then you go into that elastico. You have to sell the skill move, and that's something that I can't stress enough for a lot of intermediate, even advanced players. You might do those skill moves in the right places, but you're not selling the skills, and that's where the pros are a little bit different.
Just that extra little shimmy before you pop off the skill move, or just even turning the left analog stick to look as if you're going to pass.
There's a game plan. Yeah. There's a little more strategy as to how you're introducing.
I'm not just wiggling the stick.
Definitely not just wiggling the stick. Far from just wiggling the stick.
Ollelito out wide here, passes into Levi de Weerd. He can't get away from the defensive Kylian Mbappe. A little bit shaky at the back there. FUTWIZ will retain possession. 2/3 of this first leg completed already. What are you seeing so far, Mike, from this game?
We're seeing a lot of the ball being in the right place, but we're missing some of that extra oomph. It doesn't have that innovation that's necessary to really break through and turn this into an offensive game, because I feel that both sides are getting into the final third, getting into those locations, but it's just a matter of what you're going to do with it. And that's where we always talk about these players with that special something. The guys that are unique to the gameplay, functionality.
Do you think that, given the fact that both of these two teams knew who they were facing for over 36 hours, could play a factor into it as well? The footage that you've got on tape to watch. I mean, there's so much there. You've got quarterfinals, you've got all the group games, you've got so much for Renzo and Denman to sit down and really try and drill into the players on, this is where they like to do the extra skill move, this is where they like to get to the byline, the extra pass comes in here.
I do think there's a certain element that there's been some overthinking. There's moments that could have been more simple, and they made them more complex, and then vice versa as well. And it's difficult. It's easy for us. We're sitting in a 2020 position. We can review everything. We see it as it goes, and then we critique. We analyze. We give you our opinion. But in those moments, you only have a split second to really make a decision. You see Renzo very animated.
He's looking like Matt LaBelle with that.
Where's Ryan at? We should get the insider scoop here. I don't think we have a microphone in there, but I'd love to hear what's going on back and forth between the coaches, with their players, what's being shifted in terms of all the tactical setups and maneuvers. Remember, you're going to have a lot of formation switches that happen on the fly, not just substitutes being introduced. And I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen the new Ibrahimovic. I just felt someone would bring him on because he's such a unique body type, obviously a bunch of upgraded statistics. And you just say, why not? Especially if you're whipping in crosses, you're looking for a late game.
I mean, when you look at what this game's given us so far, you were talking about sort of the...
I think they just dabbed each other up with hand warmers.
Yeah, I like it.
Keep the hands warm.
You're talking about the innovation, also potentially a little bit of lack of clinical cutting edge in the final third so far.
But there hasn't been that many chances.
No, you're correct. You're correct.
I'd love to sit here and tell them that they didn't finish their 1v1 or that they showed up for lunch, but they didn't show up for dinner.
Yeah, this could be the 1v1 you were talking about. Are they showing up for dinner? Oh, the crossbar, the only thing that separated Team Hullet in a level game.
Oh, that's got to feel unlucky. You cut inside. The goalkeeper's off his line as well, which opens up a little more of a margin for your finesse shot. So for it to hit the crossbar and not get a second chance, you might feel a little hard done.
Green timed as well. He did everything right. Theo Hernandez just trying to squeeze it down the byline there was Ollelito.
We've seen a couple new introductions as well. We got Yaya Toure on the pitch.
Lovely pass into the feet of Ethan. He tries going on his own. Alawairan has been brought on.
Terrifying item.
Oh. Nightmare. As soon as I see him, I know I've lost the game. I can't catch him in real life or in FIFA. Then Mbappe trying to twist and turn. Ethan offloads to Yaya. Just a little bit too congested in and around the middle of the pitch there.
I don't love that. I thought the knockdown was very clever. Gave you a little more of that half second to work with inside the box, but they didn't go for it. They kind of recycled. There was a little bit of hesitation, looking for the perfect opportunity, but once you're in the box, that's your time to take that chance, that risk to reward.
Yeah, it certainly was. And with 10 minutes left to go, chances will become sparing.
And if you're up a goal, take the gamble.
Yeah.
Go for it. Throw out one of those reverse elasticos or maybe a cancellation. Even passing out of the La Croqueta, we've seen to have a lot of success.
Again, the player lock coming in, it seems to be something that they're very comfortable with doing. It was Ethan on both times initiating it. Like NiKSNEB trying to drive to the byline with a couple of step overs. We've already seen during these EA Sports Cup knockouts how strong in the right area the step overs can be. It's just a skill move that us mere mortals use. The pros seem to get more out of it.
They're so good with how they time the step over into a sprint dribble. And then again, we talked about this a little bit with skills, but I cannot stress it enough. I will beat it down broken record style. There has to be a setup, a strategy, a game plan with your skills. You can't just do them because you've seen somebody do it in this area. There needs to be a little more salesmanship or a little showmanship.
Alawairan getting away from Van Dijk, cuts it back, just running the length of the pitch there. Was Alawairan.
Just ran out of real estate is the saying. Ever so slightly.
No real press coming in so far here from Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas. Obviously, we will be playing a two-legged game all the way back to the goalkeeper, and Team FUTWIZ just trying to manage this game. So they take a lead going into leg number 2 as we approach the final minute added on. Dinked over the top, it will fall to Virgil van Dijk, and I'm going to get the thoughts very quickly before we go to a break of Mike LaBelle. There could be one final chance, Mike. You can hold your tongue because Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas are coming forward with Ronaldinho. They will get the corner. How effective this will be is another question. Zidane over it. Levi de Weerd, the player. I mean, anybody else want to go short for this? Cafu, dink to the edge, he's got space. R9, Levi de Weerd. Reversal, not a reversal elastico, should I say. McGeady cancels it down with the first time shot. Lucio getting involved. Wrong place at the wrong time right there. Wasn't the real skill move combinations I was expecting.
But he still went for it. You saw a couple cancellations. I thought it was clever on the corner kick to bring both players. It did leave that gap. They lobbed it into the gap. And you have to be very time efficient. Remember, we're 2 minutes into extra time. There's only that +1. You really can't go backwards. And even the first time shot, where you might be are pushing for a bit of a rebound or just trying to shake something up.
1-0 after your first leg of action. Ethan and NiKSNEB, the UK duo, looking to make it an all-UK final. As it currently stands, they'll be meeting FNATIC for $50,000. Who will be there? Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas. 1 goal down. Second leg coming up. Welcome back to the EA Sports Cup Knockouts. We're in semi-final number 2. My name's Richard Buckley, joined by Mike LaBelle in the commentary booth. You're joining us at a perfect time because Team FUTWIZ only lead 1-0 against Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas. Mike, I want to continue the thoughts before half-time. We're sort of getting your half-time analysis, shall we say. Was there anything surprising from this game? In particular, FUTWIZ scored so early that they didn't compound the misery.
I don't think that was necessarily a surprise. You could tell that both teams are taking their time. They're looking for that alignment. They want the perfect chance. This is going to be the goal here on the recycle. Splitting pass again. Gorgeous finish. Rude Hullet to Pele. It's just well done from them. And then at that point, you want to protect your lead. That's the highest priority. As we get into the semifinals or the finals, people typically tighten up a little bit, and that's what we saw here. Unlucky. I thought we were going to go into the second leg 1-1. I think you felt the same way. It was very even. There wasn't a lot to talk about in terms of missed opportunities or missed chances.
This was that final corner you were talking about. 2 players short. The McGeady cancelled there inside the box, played to the edge. Zidane with the first-time strike. That could have gone in the back of the net, or it could have hit old Jay. I mean, it literally could have gone anywhere.
Backyard, I don't know.
We see the stats there from the first
see, it's pretty even.
half.
That's what I was saying.
I mean,
Perfect.
Look, even the passes completed are nearly the same. I mean, we can get into whatever breakdown you want, a little bit of possession edge for TG.NIP. You could tell they had a couple extra shots if you really want to get into it, but it's still the quality of those chances.
Only one save for each goalkeeper. Shows that he didn't work the keeper. A lot of those chances, they probably deserve to score. The one that Green timed off the crossbar.
Especially considering the goalkeeper's just off his line a little bit. Things are in your favor. The margins are there. If you do that same procedure again, it can go in.
Yeah, if you take that shot 10 times, probably 8 go in, you would say.
Maybe 7. Just so we could be different. I can't give Richard the nod.
Here we go, second leg of action about to get underway. Thank you for joining us this evening. We can see you all at home in the Twitch chat. Let us know who you think will go through. Drop a FW if you think it will be Team FUTWIZ. Drop a TG.NIP if you think it will be Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas. I want to see your opinion and see if it stacks up against what we thought before the game kicked off.
I was also going to say, I don't think either side will be that upset with the first leg. Even though TG.NIP is down a goal, they didn't really give up a lot of chances at all. I mean, we saw the stats. We talked about it a little bit. They maybe were a little bit unlucky to hit the post in a big moment, but they're in this game. There's still everything to play for, and this is not going to end 1-0, I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be shocked if it ended 1-0. We have flipped over. Team FUTWIZ now will be in the white strip. And Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas in their custom kit, as FUTWIZ were in the first leg, kicking from left to right, black with a yellow trim. The player cursors, red Ollelito, yellow Levi, Ethan, that dark blue, who's on the ball right now, and he will be passing to his teammate with the light blue NiKSNEB.
And when you're looking at two teams that have the one player that's kind of known for that additional creativity, you're just trying to isolate them. Give him some space to work with. Even when if we're reviewing the last game, the 90th minute, yes, Levi got the ball inside the box, but he has a double team there. It's a manual double team. He's got a lot to do, so he's really looking for help. He's just trying to create a little bit of a lane of space.
And it's sort of counterintuitive because they pulled 2 men short to create the space, but they didn't have the player there to pass to because of the short corner. So
a bit of a catch-22. If it works, we say it was gorgeous. We loved it. I still think it was a smart move in that circumstance because of the time.
Especially also with the corner live tuning. That's something that they've probably thought up overnight. They've played it and gone, we can't cross. It's just not going to be that successful. So let's try a few different variations of a short corner and try and work the space.
And if you were wondering if you'd prefer to have R9 or if you'd prefer to have Mbappe, I polled every pro player that's been here over the last couple of days, and it is a 50% poll. So I can help you none.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, 50%.
Chance here for Team Hullet Ninja in Pyjamas. It's Ollelito on the finesse. Tucks it in past the keeper. Fist bumps all around. Level game. 15 minutes played.
Renzo might have the best hand mannerisms that we've seen on the scene here. There was so much going on with his hands. They're ins, they're outs, they're pointing this way, they're pointing that way. I think it was clever there as well. At one moment, I'm sure Ollelito looked or thought about making that extra pass. You've got the breakthrough, you got space, ball roll, re-angles himself, scores the finesse.
It's a real nice finish. It's sort of an old school FIFA finish. The finesse into the bottom right corner. The extra pass, I think, would have been too risky. After we've just seen a replay back of it there, it's just too... The space wasn't there to create. Great manual run off the ball as well. Ollelito flicked to R9 and pushed him on past that last man.
I think at the pro level, it's just built into you. If there is an extra pass for
a
sure thing, you play it. So you're always going to look at that as the first option, as the most efficient option. If you're playing a lot of FUT champs or throughout the weekend league or division rivals, you're also thinking for that extra pass.
Team FUTWIZ looking to bounce back. NiKSNEB into Ethan. Mbappe forcing a tremendous save out of Edwin van der Sar. They've already pulled Ronaldinho short for the corner. Looking to manipulate a little bit of space on the edge of the box. Ruud Hullet up against his counterpart. Can't quite shift the ball through his legs. That's a little bit risky out the back. Switch of play, a little bit undercooked. And Team FUTWIZ come forward yet again. They've seen the run of Hullet, but they can't quite find him. The pressure still coming forward for those white shirts of Team FUTWIZ. With that goal just being scored for Team Hullet Ninja in Pyjamas, has the pendulum swung in the favour of Team Hullet Ninjas?
At the moment, you can feel that momentum shift. You can see some of the counter press, a little more confidence, maybe getting the ball out of the back. It's still anyone's game, but you can definitely tell that there's a little bit of different energy or atmosphere or different confidence between them as a collective. Maybe they're focused. Just look at their dialed face cam here. They're not even blinking.
I don't think Levy's blinked in about 13 minutes. He's locked in. NiKSNEB just dribbling the ball out of play there with Kylian Mbappe.
To your point, those types of errors, they're small, but they still count. You lose possession. It might seem as if you're razzled a tad bit if you're looking at FUTWIZ.
They probably are razzled. The one thing that they've not dazzled so far in the final third. We've seen a couple of opportunities, but it's not been the FUTWIZ that we've seen week in, week out.
It's been the game this far of a lot of glimpses, but not a lot of stars. They're getting into the right places, both teams, which I've complimented. I think their game plans and structure has been phenomenal. However, we've been missing some of that extra sauce. You know, we're not getting those double dips.
Chance here for Team Hulk Ninjas in pajamas. Mbappe runs into the formidable Patrick Vieira at the back. Switcher play. Both teams have played some really dubious cross-field passes, I'll be honest. Like, I feel as though a little bit on edge when that ball gets switched.
I mean, my leg has moved a couple times. I thought I could get to those. I think that's what's got to be said about the competitive scene at this point. The margins are so slim. They're so close. The difference between a great pass and a major error, it's small. It's minute.
Yep, absolutely.
It's little details.
Especially when you've got two players pressing the ball that is poor being switched.
And we keep talking about it, but even with some of the build-up play, you have to play the Tom and Jerry, the cat and mouse. It's very important.
Chance here for Team FUTWIZ. R9 can't quite just sneak that ball from Ethan into SNEB.
That you're almost taking educated guesses. It's just part of the scene because you have those two players moving simultaneously.
Ball over the top. Is he onside? Levi de Weerd, he certainly is, and that crossfield pass in the box is cut out by Patrick Vieira. Short corner looks to be played here, or is it something on the edge, something off the training ground? Show me something special. Not quite today. Ronaldinho. Into Mbappe, finesse territory. Pele picks it up, but shut down by the white shirts of FUTWIZ. The final chance of this half, you would imagine, is going to fall to Ollelito and Levi de Weerd.
And that's top-tier recognition. They could have went forward there. They had a lot of players in the right area at the right time, but they also saw, or somebody said, 41st, 42nd minute, let's make sure that we solidify and go in with confidence on the last attack of the half.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. One added minute, whipped into the box. Van Dijk just flicks it away. And potentially FUTWIZ, if they get their cards in order, could have an opportunity to snatch it right on the end of the first half. Ronaldinho in a dangerous area, cuts it back to Ethan. Pele just snuffed out from Cafu. And that will do us for the first half of action here. Level pegging with 45 minutes left to play. Kyle Walker is joined by a very special guest to give his thoughts on the first half.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, I am. I'm joined by Shells, Manchester City Pro esports player. Shells, you know all four of these competitors, both teams really well. What can we expect in the last 45 minutes of this game?
I mean, it's getting to the later stages. I think right now it's all about the mental side, the people keeping their nerves under check, and I think it's about to see some ice.
I mean, you could easily make a mistake and give your opponent a goal, or you can go on and attack and capitalise on a mistake. What mindset would you be in? What would you be looking to do?
Just keeping my nerves under control. I think it's been a very cagey game. I was expecting a lot more goals, but I think it's just sticking to the game plan, believing in yourself, and hopefully when a chance comes, you'll take it.
Right, well, they're about to go back into it. A huge 45 in-game minutes left. Richard, Mike, let's get straight back to you.
Thank you very much, Shells.
Kyle's whispering.
And Kyle is.
Why is he whispering? He's on a microphone. They gotta be able to hear him.
I think he's on library duty down in the pit. We heard from Shells there at halftime. Mike, what's your take on that first 45?
He's right. This is when you get to the last 45, when both teams have been even, it comes down to battle of wits, and sometimes who's more courageous. It's as simple as that. Who really goes for it? Who commits to taking that chance?
And it could be Team Hulk Ninja in pajamas. They've sent the run forward from the central midfield. You just saw it at the bottom of the picture. Jairzinho into Mbappe. Can't quite shake off the defensive work there of Team FUTWIZ. And I have to say, Team FUTWIZ have been so good in the defensive third. We talked about FNATIC only conceding one goal in their respective quarter-final and then in the semi-final. FUTWIZ are in the exact same position. They conceded one against Athletic Riders, and here they are, only one goal conceded over two legs against Team Hulk Ninja in pajamas. can't quite sneak that ball around the corner for Ronaldinho.
And if there's one critique, you talk of FUTWIZ, we talk about their attacking capabilities and how they go forward, but there were questions with not only being able to see out games, because we saw them struggle with some of that earlier in this tournament, but also defensively. Can these guys hold it down? Are they able to win the 1-0 games? Are they able to compete if it's low scoring, if it's not going to have a bunch of chances? And thus far, and that's why they're in the semifinals, they've been able to rise to the occasion and get the job done.
Ball inside the box here. Virgil van Dijk seems to be at the heart of each player's defense at the moment, snuffing out headers, interceptions in dangerous areas. He is the man of the moment at this particular junction. 30 minutes remaining to see who has a date with FNATIC in our grand final, and who also confirms their FIFA E-Club World Cup participation and eliminates weeks of qualifying and books a date in the summer.
I don't know if I'm being cynical, Rich, but I'm already starting to think about the potential of extra time and penalty kicks.
It did come from my mind, I just didn't say it out loud.
I've done it. It has that feel, right? We're not going to see that many chances.
Chance for FUTWIZ, couple of step overs, great cancel in the box from NiKSNEB. Just dribbles out of play and it will go out for a goal kick. I think both players have defended so well. There's been, the reason we've not seen a lot of chances is they've not been allowed to.
We've talked a lot about the offense, but you're right. It hasn't been that they've been lackluster. They're just not getting pulled out of position. And you see, again, some of the dexterity there. You see the cancellations. You're seeing a lot of intricate details that only the pros have in their arsenal, especially with some of these key cancels and pass outs or halfway cancels and recycles and resurfacing. There's been so many different details and particulars that haven't been able to unlock that space, haven't been able to pull somebody out, haven't been mismanaged or micromanaged. They've done the job properly, and that's what they're talking about now. I'm telling you, we need to get a microphone in there. I need to know what's happening in the pit.
Well, we can see those substitutions coming on. 25 minutes left to play. Ronaldinho for Pele. Alawairan also introduced. I think it was Jarzinho who made way on the turn of FUTWIZ. Just going to scan the bottom left corner, see which player's stamina is at full. We'll get the confirmation of those subs very, very shortly. But this is a fresh Ronaldinho, and a fresh Ronaldinho is a scary Ronaldinho running at you.
There's no privacy in the pit. Get me a microphone in there. Kyle Walker's got long arms. Have him reach over.
Team Hooligan Ninjas in pajamas. In my opinion, the most consistent team out of the four coming into today. They always seem to play well. Even when they don't play well, they never get beat heavily. It's always a 6 out of 10 performance, even when it's not clicking. When it does click, they're one of the best teams on the planet.
Yeah, I would agree with you that they might be the best team when not playing at their best.
Yep. Just grinding out results.
Really, yeah, if you really think about that for a second, it all makes sense. They never really bring a poor package. We've seen a lot of teams where they have a high ceiling, but they can
very
fall
low
off.
floor.
They can drop. Yeah.
No, it's true. Yeah. The cellar's deep. If the ceiling's high.
The tile is cracking. I understand.
15 minutes left to play here. Such an evenly contested match. What is going to give first? Which defense will wilt under the pressure of their opponent? Nice little offside trap there from Team FUTWIZ, just to second guess Team Hooligan Ninjas in pajamas. Ollelito was looking for that ball over the top. The passing accuracy stat flashing up in the top left corner. No surprise that it's high 80s, dipping into the 90s with 4 players on the pitch, all controlling individuals as well. Incredible that it is as high as 90%. Lovely driven pass into Mbappe. Vieira steps across and does well. Will it be a moment of magic? Will it be a mistake that separates one of these two sides and their Club World Cup confirmation and a chance to battle FNATIC for $50,000? 10 minutes to go.
I think it's a little too early to try to recycle for that last attack, but it is getting into the nitty-gritty.
Team FUTWIZ chance. Jarzinho out wide. Couple of step overs, trying to recycle. Cafu will get involved. And the Brazilian fullback looking for options inside. Doesn't see too many. He's going to go on his own. That's Ethan dribbling left and right. The pass is poor, and Theo Hernandez picks up possession for Team Hooligan Ninjas in pajamas. But a great press there from FUTWIZ, just forcing the short pass wasn't on. You're going to have to switch it. You're going to have to try and play out again on the other side.
little bit of hesitation, though, on the offensive side. If you're looking at FUTWIZ, if you're a fan of the organization, there might have been 2 or 3 instances where they had the splitting pass. And when they finally got down to it, they chose wrong. The timing wasn't there. The alignment wasn't there. We talk so much about tempo and timing and positioning and spacing, but they're so important to your FIFA build-up.
Last chance saloon in regulation time. 30 additional minutes are right around the corner here. Waiting to extra time with Athletic Riders did FUTWIZ. They scored, I think 94th minute was the goal. Penalties wasn't needed. It's looming, but an awful possession loss there. Levi to Weerd. Giving away the ball. It's given a final chance to Team FUTWIZ. Player lock inside the box. Van der Sar as well. And that will do us for 90 minutes in the second leg.
And I'll tell you what happened. He looked up and saw the clock, and he was trying to pinpoint a deep option. He wanted to send it deep, a huff, a heave, a knockdown, something to give you that last opportunity. Held onto the ball too long and almost cost him.
I'm just looking over my shoulder. Very, very tense here in the arena.
There's more than 50 people in there. Might be 100 people in the, not maybe in the pit, but in the room around the pit, and nobody's talking. I don't hear back and forth. I don't hear whispers. We don't have the librarian over there with Kyle.
There's some definite back and forth here, though, from Renzo to Ollelito and Levi. On the other side of the stage, Jake Denman. He's getting in there. Fantastic job he has been since getting behind Ethan in the solos and in the duos with both Ethan combining with NiKSNEB. Just having a quick look there at the match facts and the proceedings in the 90 minutes in this second leg. The countdown has finished, and here we go. 30 minutes of extra time. I cannot wait.
We called it, or I called it.
Yeah, we did.
I'm going to reiterate, there has to be a winner. So if extra time were to end in a draw, at least in aggregate score lines, we are going to be heading to penalty kicks.
A couple of substitutions there coming on. Kyle Walker for Team FUTWIZ. Alfonso Davis was introduced as well for Team Hooligan Ninjas in Pyjamas, and Jairzinho also brought on for Team FUTWIZ. Freshening up certainly just that right-hand side of the pitch, really. Kyle Walker and then Jairzinho for FUTWIZ, and on the other side of it, Alfonso Davis at left-back for Team Hooligan Ninjas in Pyjamas.
And Kyle Walker's a bit of a trade-off player as well. Defensively, incredible. His chase back, strength, it's all there. Offensively, however, he doesn't have that same agility, so to speak. He's not going to move and groove the same way.
Theo Hernandez getting in down that left-hand side. Wins FUTWIZ a corner. It's played short. Ronaldo. Alawairon into Mbappe. Jairzinho inside the box. Finesse shot. Sombrero flick coming out from Ethan. Hello. Not see that today. It could be a chance for Team Hooligan Ninjas in Pyjamas. Alawairon trying to get away from Vieira. If he would have got that extra touch, his favourite to go through on goal.
It's actually incredible. So Vieira, I don't know if he's nimble enough to play at the pro level as a center mid or a holding mid. But as a center back...
He's the best center back on the game.
He's took the words out of my mouth.
He's unbelievable.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Recovery speed, pinpoint.
He looks about 8 foot tall as well. Him and Van Dijk. Jairzinho skinning. Davis there, whipped into the box, looking for the back post.
It's overshot. The option should have been R9 there.
They've crossed it a few times.
Just a little bit of that extra cushion. They needed to take it off.
That nerves?
Potentially. We've seen a couple moments where I would say those hands might be a little bit sweaty.
A bit clammy.
And also, it should be said, Ethan and NiKSNEB haven't been in this position. And I'll say with Ollelito and Levi, they've been here, but they haven't really got through it.
No.
I haven't seen them in a final yet as a duo. We always have major expectation. They put themselves in the conversation. They have the dialogue, but they haven't done it yet.
And that will do us for the first 15 minutes. It always seems to be, when we come up on this commentary booth together, something outrageous, whether it's a 4-0 to a 4-4.
Or sombrero flick
whether
at
it's
the top of the box.
If he'd have pulled that
no defenders back.
If he'd have pulled that sombrero flick off and scored, I don't know where we go from that, really. I really don't. 15 minutes left to play. Substitutions will be pivotal. Getting those extra legs in the final third. Maybe looking at Lionel Messi if you're looking for a finesse shot from range. Maybe bringing on a central midfielder to try and strengthen up in the middle of the park. Johan Cruyff, Eusebio, that type of player.
I'm just looking for Ibrahimovic. I'm selling a certain notion. I don't think anybody has him on the bench. He's not going to make it.
I don't think he's involved.
But I might have a little bit of a bias.
Wout, big Wout Weghorst, if in doubt.
He's now a center back, and he his shape, positioning, capabilities, skill moves, weak foot, everything's a little bit different these days.
But there's one thing that's consistent, and that is 6'7" of wout. And if need be, he'll stick it in.
If you're wondering the reference point, at the end of last year, he had an item that became very usable if you're whipping in crosses.
Well, here we go. Johan Cruyff is introduced there for Team Hullet Ninja in Pyjamas. David Ginola also. Karim Benzema's involved. Chance for FUTWIZ, trying to bustle his way through there.
We were trying to call the substitute. Ginola is a bit of a throwback. A bit of a throwback. Like, he hasn't been in rotations the same way. He's another player that got pushed out when the icons got pushed in.
Absolutely. And also with the numerous promo items, he sort of fell down the pecking order. Karim
Benzema, the center mid.
Big fan of him.
I love him. I would highly recommend him. If you can get him into your squad, you won't regret it.
Well, Ronaldinho into Benzema. Those two linking up on that right-hand side of the pitch. Karim.
Oh, there was space. There was space, Rich.
Still on, though. Still on if Mbappe can force that ball through.
You talk about nerves. I think that was one of those moments. You got to play that forward. You got your player on the correct side of the defensive guy, the defensive player. You're able to slot him in, and now you really can push a certain agenda. You can put some pressure. You get a good first touch. You're in on goal.
Will there be one more moment in this end-to-end semi-final? Travella from deep. Falls back to Mbappe. Danger. Ollelito! Great block from Van Dijk. 6 minutes remaining.
A little bit of a counter press on here as well if you're looking at TG.NIP.
Just putting it on him a little bit.
Seen a couple mistakes on some of the clearances out of the back. Some of those deep switches being maybe a little too advantageous.
Well, Jairzinho's creating a little bit of space out wide here. Mbappe made the run in behind, then came back and just decided to recycle. Now Mbappe gets involved. Scoop turn. Can't quite get past Alphonso Davies. And
it's a good idea, though, because, again, what they're anticipating is a player switch, and you're trying to challenge the player via that player switch. He hasn't repositioned, and that's why you're seeing that scoop turn where he's almost attacking the front line center back because he's anticipating that there might be a switch there, and then he has that 1v1.
Well, this is going to be the final chance of the game. Alowairan could be in behind, just offside, and Team FUTWIZ will have one final roll to the dice before dreaded penalty kicks. Switch of play into Theo Hernandez. Are they looking for something off the training ground? Not today, and that will do us. Penalties for a Club World Cup spot. It's going to be Ronaldinho first. Saved! Big save, and Team FUTWIZ come down the other end. Yaya Toure, Ethan over it. Panenka down the middle.
Here we go. Can you have the reply? We've got Johan Cruyff. Maybe first touch on the pitch.
Oh, 2 saves!
What a penalty, what a save. Mbappe, can you extend the lead? He can't, it's been saved as well.
Very, very edgy here at the Here East. Just stood over to the goalkeeper's right here. Now moves to the middle and sticks it into the right there. Good penalty, tied up 1 apiece. Ruud Gullit on the other side of it. FUTWIZ, Panenka again. Ethan's had 2 pens and dinked them both.
You see the value of the Panenka. Mbappe needs this, has to have it.
Oh, great pen.
That's confidence. That's confidence there. Top corner, best corner. Ginola, again, fresh on the pitch. Oh, what a save. We're all evened up.
2-2. Sudden death, basically. Karim Benzema. Team Hullet Ninja in Pyjamas sticks it in the top corner, and FUTWIZ must score. Jairzinho over it. Saved! Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to the Club World Cup. Incredible. The bottle, the ice, all on show. Ollelito and Weerd with Renzo behind. I've got a date with FNATIC.
What a comeback. What a semifinal. So much mental there. A lot of back and forth. Penalty kicks. I mean, we saw a lot of quality penalties as well. Multiple Panenkas, goalkeeper movement, a little shimmy, a little shake. You see the emotion. You see what it means to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're in the finals.
FNATIC awaits. You can see the despair on the other side of the screen. Team FUTWIZ, so close. Ethan and NiKSNEB had an outstanding performance during this tournament. In your opinion, Mike, they over-delivered what you expected of them coming into it.
Absolutely.
the final hurdle, a penalty shootout, they're eliminated.
I just think of even the groups. Getting out of the groups. Very few took FUTWIZ to do it. They got the job done. They progressed through the bracket stage. They took one of the favorites in the tournament with Ollelito and Levi, when you're looking at Team Hullet and Ninjas in Pajamas. Took them to penalty kicks, and they were ahead in penalties as well. They're going to review this gameplay time and time again, but they should be happy with themselves. Give them a hand clap, pat on the back.
What a game.
They did what they needed to do.
What a game. It was a game of very few chances, very small opportunities, but an outstanding watch. Our final is set. From the commentary booth, we're going to throw it down to Rachel and Brandon.
Well, what an outpouring of emotion we had just now from Team Hullet Ninjas in Pajamas, and what a way to celebrate their 5th birthday as well. Team Hullet, they were putting that out on social media. Didn't quite think it was going to get across the line. We had to go extra time in our first penalty shootout of the EA Sports Cup to get it done. And I guess they're just leaning on that experience they have, Brandon, aren't they? Club World Cup, obviously they were semi-finalists there. They're kind of obviously now in the best in the world again, in the final of this. They have the experience. On the other side, FUTWIZ haven't ever got to the final stages of this competition to lean on at all.
Absolutely. I think for a while, as we spoke in the back room, is like Team Hullet, Ninja Pajamas, it's been their sort of kryptonite, the semi-finals, hasn't it? They got to the semi-finals last year in Copenhagen, as you said. They fell short there this time round. Yes, it fell on penalties. Anything can happen on penalties. It's their birthday. Maybe the birthday luck was in. But no, commiserations to FUTWIZ. What a year they're having so far. Ethan individually together as well with NiKSNEB, top 40 Premier League last year. There's still a lot to look forward to. I know that doesn't sound like much right now, but yeah, what a semi-final, what a different semi-final to what we saw earlier.
Yeah, totally different. Let's see how it unfolds. Well, FUTWIZ, Brandon, was so disciplined as well in their approach. They got the early goal, and you thought Team Ninjas in Pajamas were never going to get or never be able to come back and make a chance of their own.
Yeah, well, this first leg was just full of chances from the get-go, wasn't there? There was a chance at either end, and then we saw this chance, a brilliant goal from Pele. I think it was Ethan that got that one. And then it was a case for TG.NIP to try and chase the game. The goal didn't come until the second leg of play, as we know. There was a number of chances. Mbappe, lovely inside, went for that finesse, off the bar. Their chances were knocking on the door. They had to be patient, Rachel, but then their chance did come.
Yeah, of course it came, and Mike Labelle's come in as well now, and I'm going to ask Mike for his thoughts because he got to cast the entire thing and I guess experience all the emotions that the players did as well. Team FUTWIZ, though, we're going to start with them, obviously, our losers today in this matchup. Very impressive this season.
And that's why I said you got to give a lot of credit. Don't walk out of that with your head not held high. And I think from beginning to end, the real takeaway is how intense it was. You saw everything in here. There's a lot of people here. It was quiet. It had a true battle of wits. It had that feel of a semifinal. And it means so much to these competitors as well because of that automatic qualification. It's not just about the money, just about being able to win this tournament, as you see a couple of missed chances, but also that you are guaranteed E-Club, World Cup, you're there, you're in appearance, that's another tournament, adds to your resume, you could win that, you can go on, you can progress your status within the FIFA season, or the FIFA scene and the season, and kind of take that into the future of your competitive trajectory.
Yeah, Mike's right. I mean, that ticket to the Thief-Free Club World Cup, teams worked for months of online qualification to get there. You cannot put a price on it. Here's some of the chances in extra time you saw. There was no more goals. We had to go to the spot. And this is where it got a bit nervy, Mike. There was a few penalties that were missed, weren't there?
Yeah, it was interesting approaches as well. You see a lot of the early goalkeeper movement. There's some mental or mind games being played, and penalties even going to the side. You're seeing a lot of power. We saw a couple paninkas down the middle. It is a little bit of a game plan with that rock, paper, scissors. It's got to be said. There's definitely strategy involved in the pop-off, unbelievable, the emotion. You see group hugs everywhere. These guys have worked towards it. I'm telling you, they have to be drenched right now from how intense that was from the jump. It just was not an open game whatsoever.
Group hugs as well, you mentioned. It's because they're such a team. They always talk about these boot camps they do. They did it before Copenhagen, the World Cup last year. They've done it before this. They really are a complete unit, those three. Renzo, obviously, who sits behind them, is the coach as well. That is obviously a massive part. We spoke about it with FNATIC. They don't have that third man. They've got Weerd sitting behind them, but obviously they're local boys. They don't particularly have the same big outfit that we see time and time again from Team Hullet Ninjas in Pajamas. Will that come into play in this final? Who's got the
we
edge?
love to sit here and measure what's happening and how it's happening and why it's happening, but to a certain degree, I think it's the level of commitment that you put into this with practicing, and that's why you have that emotional pop-off. When you know that you've traveled to a different country for the boot camp, like you're talking about with everybody coming together in Netherlands, and you spent 2-3 weeks of your time just for this. When it all comes together, or you get that fine margin, you walk away, you say, oh, it was worth it. It was so worth it.
Well, it's been worth it so far, hasn't it, guys? Well, Mike, for one final time at the EA Sports Cup, you do have an analysis presented by PlayStation Tournaments. What have you got for us?
Again, shout out to FUTWIZ, and we're going to look at their opening goal. I really like this goal. I think they did a fantastic job opening the space and then slotting it in. You're going to see this entry pass. You got defenders and midfielders just slightly pulled out of position. This is an R1 whipped pass. Gives you a little bit of that extra emphasis, and then it puts Pele in a position where he can turn and he can finish. And when you're dealing with such an organized team, going up against TG.NIP, you have to be pinpoint and almost perfect if you want to be able to create opportunities. So again, shout out to FUTWIZ. That was my favorite goal of the two. It was a super cagey affair.
Well, I can't wait to see how Team FUTWIZ get on the E-Premier League as well. They've got a chance, obviously, haven't they, to bounce back and maybe get further than they did last year. But let's go back to this event then, and it is FNATIC and Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pyjamas, as your final. Both obviously already secured a spot at the FIFA E Club World Cup. We get to look forward to that in a few months' time. But this is massive now, $50,000 on the line. They've already got, the chance to go to the Club World Cup, like you say. Who's going to pick up the trophy? Do FNATIC have the home advantage?
Ooh.
Training here in London.
We'll have to ask the crowd. I think, first and foremost, that FIFA E World Cup comment there, there's 22 more teams that will qualify for that. But what first two teams qualified for that tournament in a couple of months' time? In terms of advantages, home advantages, we can try and build that narrative. I've loved how good the UK teams have been. You know, FUTWIZ, FNATIC in the top four is great. For me, I did say FNATIC before we kicked off today. I don't know who you said before we kicked off today.
I had
of course
NIP and
no, NIP.
Yeah,
okay,
I had TG and NIP. So this is actually what both of us predicted is in the finals. So we're there.
This is also a repeat as well of Team of the Season Cup from last year in round 2, I believe. These two teams faced off against each other. In terms of what teams are going to come out, are we going to see them playing any differently than we already have? Obviously, FNATIC have been scoring loads of goals. Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pyjamas, haven't so much there. Diogo's just come over to listen to exactly what I'm going to say. Are you going to be scoring a lot of goals? Was his reply to me there. I mean, what do you think we're going to see from this final?
I think for TG and NIP, they're going to have to come down to, can they neutralize what we've seen from FNATIC? Because I don't think they can keep up with them in terms of scoring goals. But they can keep up with them if this turns into a structured battle, if it turns into something where there's a lot more midfield, there's a lot more back and forth, and you're trying to outthink each other, maybe a battle of the wits. Come on the momentum of winning a penalty kick, you start to feel, when I was competing, I start to feel I can win the tournament. If I start beating you in penalties, I'm beating you late game, now I'm saying maybe this is my time. And they might feel that way.
I think off the back of that, I think, look at the quarterfinal and the semi-final that FNATIC have played. The teams have not scored first against them. FNATIC have scored first. They've controlled the style and the tempo of the game, as Mike said. TG.NIP have to bring one hell of a performance because his FNATIC side look incredible right now. Conceded 2 goals, scored 11 in knockouts. We know
Ninjas in Pyjamas have also been analysing all the games, but they've just played most recently, and we saw how stressful that will have been for them. The emotion, they've now got to quickly calm down, and then they have to go again. On the contrary, FNATIC, they've been watching their chill. Diogo's in the pit already, waiting to go, and he'll be probably in their early doors to start the mind games early, would you say, Brandon, as well? He's been doing a lot of that over the course of the last couple of days.
One game they say they're up for it, and the others they say they're the underdogs. Regardless, though, yeah, they've had a game off. But as Mike said, it's a momentum boost, isn't it? You just won on the penalty shootout. You're buzzing.
And I think this game will be a little more open than maybe you expect going into the final because they both have now grabbed the E-Club World Cup's positions, which allows you to take something off your shoulders. You got to the next step. Sure, they want the money and they want the title, but I do think that relieves a little bit, and I'm hoping that it ends up being a little more free flow, a little more fluid.
Well, both these teams need a title as well. Only one title, one trophy up for grabs. It is Team FNATIC, the local boys, up against the birthday boys. Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pyjamas, for glory and to lift the trophy and be crowned the EA Sports Cup champions. This massive final is after the break. Come back and join us. FNATIC taking on Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Well, here we go then. Welcome back to London for the final time. This is it, your grand final of the EA Sports Cup. It was a journey, Richard, that started back in October. Weeks of group stage has got us to this moment now. There was 20 teams, now only 2 remain. 2 European sides. FNATIC against TG.NIP. What a game we have ahead of us.
I would arguably go out on a limb and say the best mechanically gifted FIFA team in Team FNATIC against the most consistent team over the last probably year and a half. They never seem to have a bad performance.
Yep.
Team Ninja Pajamas. They get beat, and they maybe not climbed to the top of the mountain as you would have expected them to have when they did form 2 European giants coming together. Doesn't always mesh straight away, but tonight is a night to right those wrongs of yesteryear and claim the EA Sports Cup trophy.
Yeah, well, what do those 2 teams have in common behind us? Well, one thing, any major 2v2 tournament, Team of the Season Cup, Richard, FIFA E-Club World Cup, they were there, and they were in the top 8s, they were in the top 6s, weren't they? This is their best run they've ever had. It's just the case, unfortunately, only one of them can win at this time. But you're right, it's been a process for these 2 teams. They've been playing for a few seasons now.
And all 4 individually have gone far in tournaments before or even gone on to win tournaments. So nerves won't play a factor. I really don't see it happening.
Well, before we kicked off today, there's been a number of tweets surrounding us on social media of certain predictions. Here's our very own Rachel Stringer, first and foremost. She went for complexity. Unfortunately, as we know, they fell out in the semi-finals. I know this man standing next to me put up a tweet as well. Is it going to pop up now, Richard?
FNATIC, that's what I fancied. And you can see the reasoning behind it. Looked way too strong in the qualifiers. If they replicate the same performance, nobody touches them. That tweet will be getting put all over. Don't you worry about that if I've called it correctly.
Well, and last but not least, I believe I ran a poll earlier today to see...
I'm with the people.
The people are thinking. Just under 1,000 votes on that one. It was, I mean, the top 2 teams that got the votes are in the grand final. 61.6% of the votes for FNATIC.
Was it ever in doubt that Richard Buckley and the people would be hand in hand together? I am a member of the FIFA community. I am a member of the people, and we are together in unison.
Well, enough about us for a moment and the people, Rich. Let's head down to Carl Walker, who's joined by 2 members of the teams before this grand final.
Thank you, Brandon. I thought you wouldn't be able to shut Richard up right there when he was going on. Yes, I am joined by FNATIC, Tekkz, and Ollelito is with Mike. Tekkz, huge final coming up. There's one team that are standing in the way of yourself and getting your hands on the trophy that you're next to just there. What's going through your head right now?
It's going to be a hard game. We've been watching them in warm-ups. They're a very good team. We're quite similar. Like, we like to keep the ball. We like to press quite high. So it's going to be even. And whoever has the best moment in the game, I think will win.
E-Club World Cup secured for yourself and, of course, for TG.NIP as well. So now you're playing for extra prize money and pride. Do you want to go out there and show the world that you and Diogo, you're still the best in this business?
I haven't won a trophy for a while. It's like November 2020, and I'm trying to get back to the top every day. And this will be a good start. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Well, let's see the team that are standing in your way, as I said. Mike, you're with Ollelito.
I am joined by Ollelito, and my first question, we've seen a lot of success from both you and Levi individually. As a collective, you guys have been working towards it. This is your first final. How does that kind of feel? We saw the emotion, we saw the reaction to winning and penalty kicks, making that comeback, just going into this final.
I mean, exciting, you know. Playing a final with Levi is the first time, as you said, and I think most important for us was to get that E-Club World Cup qualification now, but we have one game left, which we will be giving everything in. So looking forward to it.
And I know that you guys have been reviewing all of your opponents, so I'm sure you're familiar with FNATIC. Is there a certain game plan that you have in order going into this matchup?
No, I wouldn't really say so. I mean, we know how they play. I think they know us pretty well as well. So 2 of the best teams and probably 2 of the best teams in the world and probably top 2. So it will be a very, very tough game against a fantastic side. But yeah, we will be giving it our all.
Well, 2 of the best teams going head-to-head, and we wish you all luck in this final. I am certainly looking forward to this one. Finally, after weeks of group stages, we've had our quarterfinals. The semi-finals are done. It's time for the final of the EA Sports Cup. Let's throw you over to Richard Buckley, but first, Brandon Smith.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yeah, great to hear there from the 2 team captains, you could say. They've been a massive part of this team and the process on the way through. I think the biggest change that we've seen, you mentioned consistency there from TG.NIP, and then the opposite side mechanically. What's been the biggest change for FNATIC? Because they've come in to knockout play very different. Is it the 2 legs that's helped them out? Because in the group stage, they didn't top the group by any means. They lost the game. This is the run they had.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at those aggregate score lines in the last couple of matches, but they've just not conceded goals. I mean, if you look throughout those games, I think 2-leg has helped them. Typically, over 1 leg, it's a much more narrower. It can go either way. It's sort of a coin flip in these really high contested matches, but over 2 legs, they do tend to show their dominance, and they've also just not been conceding. They've conceded, what, 2 goals in 4 legs of FIFA? That's incredible.
Yeah, I think the one thing you've mentioned there, although the results might not have been fantastic in the single legs, Rich, they didn't concede goals. You're right. At this moment in time, 19 goals scored across the whole competition, only 8 conceded, of course. 9 goals conceded, only 2 of those coming in the knockout stage. On the opposite side, we'll jump over very shortly to see the run that TG.NIP have had in this group stages as well. One thing you'll notice about them, Richard, they have been unbeaten the whole way throughout this tournament. They had the perfect group stage, and it's no surprise they just flew through to the knockouts, where it became a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for Team Hullet Ninja in Pyjamas, if you look 4 down, win, win, draw, draw, win, win. They picked up 8 points out of 12 to solidify themselves as the top seed to get through the groups. 4-3 win against Team Focus. They were leading 3-0. Focus made a little bit of a comeback, and then that penalty shootout that I just had the pleasure of commentating over with Mike LaBelle. I really, really think this is I'm going to go 53-47. In terms of the percentages, yeah. I think FNATIC have got a very slight edge because they've not been all the way to penalties. They've not been to that final hurdle. I think they've looked a little bit cleaner in their approach play, but I really think it's an even matchup.
Well, this is what we've been waiting for months and weeks of 2v2 FIFA esports action. Only one team can be crowned the EA Sports Cup champions and pick up $50,000 for the final time tonight. You guys at home, get involved in the conversation and let us know who you think is going to win. Score prediction, team name, just get involved and let us know who you think is going the full way. FIFA E-Club World Cup qualification is in the bag. Now it's time to pick up a trophy, which for both of these two teams will be their best ever 2v2 accomplishment, even getting this far to the grand final. Already is that in the history books. FNATIC kicking from left to right in this one. TG.NIP in that white strip from right to left. Keep an eye on those individual player cursors because they'll both be playing such a different role in this 2v2 matchup.
And if Tekkz was to be successful here, he also puts a real serious claim to be the best 2v2 player that we've seen. A Club World Cup trophy with Nicholas, a top 4 with Tom Lees when he was playing at FNATIC in Milan. That was Club World Cup 2020, and now a victory here, a top 6 at the Tots Cup as well. I think he's well within his right to say I'm one of the best, if not the best, 2s player. On the other side of it, just a huge, huge moment for Ollelito and Levi. And back on the FNATIC side, Diogo. This would be a massive achievement for him if he was to go all the way here with Tekkz.
I think I was looking through the history books of FIFA tournaments earlier today, Richard. There's only been one 2v2 tournament where Tekkz is placed outside the top 8, and I think that was last year at the E-Nations Cup with England. Other than that, every single time he's been in the 2v2 tournament, he's top 8 or higher. This man sets his own standards, and look, his teammate in Diogo has been everything that he's needed in a teammate. What a run they've been on. Here is Diogo now. He'll have that yellow orange circle above his in-game head. The captain of the team, Tekkz, with that red triangle.
It's also down to the teammates as well to come up to the standard. Where there's a lot of pressure playing with Tekkz because you know what you're going to get online. You know, if it doesn't go well, it's probably going to be your fault rather than his because of how good and how well he's how much he's achieved. Such a captivating game. It really, really is. If you want to find out about the in-game icons and follow an individual player, red Tekkz, yellow Diogo, dark blue Ollelito, light blue Levi.
And how important is it, Richard, that TG.NIP take the game to FNATIC? I was saying about it in the build-up. Look at the last 2 games that FNATIC have played, quarter-final and semi-final. They score first and they control the tempo and also the goal scored in the game. I think we might be jumping into a small technical pause there in our grand final. But how important is it that TG.NIP score first, or just at least take the game to them, because you can't let FNATIC control it?
No, you can't let them control the tempo, the pace, the story of the match, really. I think the ball will just be turned over here, back in the favour of the opposing player. And you're looking at those statistics as well when you're talking about the players down there. Obviously, a lot of the conversation is about Tekkz, as it always is, but I really, really think that this would mean so much to Diogo if FNATIC were to win, and Levi. Levi's had a fair bit of criticism when you look at people saying he can only do it online. He can only do it when he's in the comfort of his own home. This is a big pressure situation. If he was to go and win this trophy, $50,000, Club World Cup guaranteed already, I think not only does it sort of take a big weight off his shoulders moving forwards, I think that's a little bit dangerous for the rest of the competition as well, because mechanically Levi is one of the best players. He knows exactly what he needs to do. We've seen it in previous FIFAs. Just an incredible, incredible player. I remember we were commentating a PlayStation tournament.
I still remember it like it was yesterday, Richard. Levi David playing in a head-to-head.
He was ineligible to play at the time because of his age in the Global Series, and he walked the floor with all these people.
It was a $100 cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he
was playing as France.
I don't think he conceded. I think he scored about 27 goals in 4 games.
He was incredible. And I mean, since then, I mean, it's their birthday today. Happy birthday, Team Hullet. They've been a massive part of FIFA esports, going about it the right way as well. Of course, partnership with NIP Ninjas in Pyjamas, who put pen to paper with Ollelito before creating this formidable force. But we speak about preparation and how they've been going about their business. This team on your screen, you can see Ollelito flew over from Sweden to the Netherlands a week or so ago. They've been boot camping. They've been grinding away and ensuring that they can be in the best condition possible for this tournament, basically, and it's come out and it's worked out well. I don't think penalties would have been in the practice, but regardless of it, they kept their nerve from the spot. I mean, you commented on the penalty shootout. There was a couple missed there.
There was a couple missed. It sort of ebbed and flowed, that penalty shootout. Firstly, I thought that FUTWIZ were going to take it, and then as it got to the real crunch penalties, just Team Hullet Ninja in Pyjamas keeping their composure, slotting it in. FUTWIZ crash out. I have to say massive commiserations as well to Team FUTWIZ. It's a heartbreaking, heart-wrenching way to be eliminated from a major tournament, with also not just a major tournament. We're not necessarily even thinking about the prize money increase, 25 to 35, but that Club World Cup guarantee.
You've now got put a price in it,
weeks of qualifying ahead of you.
They're probably going to eat in the back room. Weeks of qualification, to get into this tournament, which the spots are only 22 of them now, Richard. Yep. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes, losing on the penalty shootout, which is going to be a really hard way to take. We are just quickly going to restart the game so we can get back underway as soon as we can. You've not missed a thing. It's 0-0. This is your grand final for the EA Sports Cup. If you have just joined, there was 20 teams. Now only 2 remain. It's these 2 here. And we are back underway with just over 15 minutes played. Nice as well of TG.NIP to try and give the ball back to FNATIC. They'll do it again. Better touch, please, Captavia. There you go. Back underway. Good sportsmanship regardless. I think one thing that we could have looked at today is a bit of an indicator, Rich. The 4 teams that were here in the semi-finals were all duos that did play competitive FIFA last year.
Long-standing duos as well, you would say. I mean, Complexity have been together at least 3 years. FNATIC, a couple of years. Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas, formed going on 2 years now, and FUTWIZ as well.
This is nice. It's TG.NIP. There was Jarzini there trying to open up his body for that right foot finesse, which has been ever so popular for this team. It was Levi David that scored that incredible finesse shot with Zinedine Zidane on Monday. Look at what 2v2 has brought to FIFA esports, though, Richard. Some of the teams that have popped out, including these 2, Team Heretic, Dial Wolves, SAF. It's brought a new range of esports teams.
That was nice. A little variation of the heel to heel, the ball roll heel to heel. Looking to create a little bit of space there, FNATIC on the edge of the box.
Keep an eye on that run from R9, top of your screen. Ollelito making that run with Jarzinho. He's in now. Mbappe there being controlled, just on the edge maybe. Tries his best, but how many times Tekkz just love losing Virgil van Dijk, and just the timing of his tackles, Rich, in quarter-final, semi-final, and just then in the final has been perfect.
Just courageous defending as well. You're in front of your man, inside the box. There's a trepidation to back out of the tackle, to let him come towards you and try and sort of win an interception or win a block, he's more than happy to close him down, to take the ball off of him. And also, I've not really casted a lot of FNATIC throughout this tournament. I think it's the first game I've done in the knockouts. Maldini, and at centre-back, no Patrick Vieira.
It all comes down to personal preference at the end of the day. But they're the only team that I'm pretty sure has used the Italian defender. Here's a chance, Mbappe, this is Tekkz! Perfect start for FNATIC! And who else would it be than the captain of the team?
It came down this right-hand side. It was Cafu linking in the play. Just a run off the back of the defender, killing Mbappe. Very similar to what he does in real life, really. Drifting in behind of the centre-back, off of his shoulder, blind side, you could say. And as soon as he gets into that nice area, just on the edge of the box, Tekkz, you back him. You back him to score. Slams it across the keeper, into the bottom left corner. FNATIC 1-0 up.
I believe the FNATIC offices are only a couple of miles away here in London. It wouldn't surprise me if the game starts to unfold in that fashion. I'll start heading down to celebrate. Early days, though. There's a long, long time to play. Still 2 legs of FIFA, keep in mind. But what do we say, Richard? It had to be TG.NIP that ideally scored first to try and take the game to. Here's a great chance. Goes down to ground. We question why Maldini was in the team, and it's for moments like that where he might not have knew much about it, but had to be brave and just did enough.
What a tackle. Sliding tackle as well. Very rare that you see that. I love the driven pass into the feet of the attacking player there from Team Hullet Ninja in pyjamas.
Have a poor pass.
Seen it a lot, though. Switches of play, just not got enough on them.
Great feet, Ollelito there with Jarzinho. One thing they've done, though, FNATIC has been so regiment at the back. Decision making has overall been great. Half time. FNATIC lead by a goal to nil. Tekkz scoring with Mbappe. After the slow start we had to the game. Slowly. It's coming to life. Half time here. Still 3 halves of FIFA to play. But it is the UK organisation that do lead at the break. Here's the stats half time, Richard, so far.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not too much to dive into here. We've only had 45 minutes of action. Possession slightly in favour. The big difference, 10% swing in the passing accuracy for FNATIC. They've held the ball a lot better. Over 50 passes of the ball, and they've barely given the ball away. On the other side of it, a little bit low. And I'm sure they'll be looking at that, saying be a bit more crisper and try and hold possession and keep it ticking over when we can do. I'm sure Renzo echoing the message right now.
It's been no surprise that so many of these players have come through Team Hullet NIP in the last couple of years. Some of the coaches there, Renzo's a great example of it, former FIFA pro. She played on the same team in past years as Levi Weerd, then decided to go all in on coaching. It's been a massive part of the behind the scenes preparation for this team and the success they've had. As I said earlier, it's the best run they've had in a 2v2 tournament. One step further than that top 4 finish they had in Denmark last year in the E-Club World Cup, where they fell to the hands of SAF.
Nothing on, having to go backwards, having to recycle here.
Hernandez and Lucio able to link up. Here's a great chance. Mbappe, Ollelito, the swing! Oh, penalty! Virgil van Dijk, we've said how good he's been at the back.
Red card!
Wow. It's a red card! 52 minutes on the clock, and it's a massive game-changing moment. However, can Levi hold his nerve from the spot?
Just come out the back for a penalty shootout.
With Pele over it. Of course he scores!
Wow. The game has changed, ladies and gentlemen. 40 minutes left to play. 10 men of FNATIC has to be changed. Changes have to come in.
But I think it might be Diogo that dived into the tackle there with a red card. What someone's going to have to be sacrificed in the final third. We'll try and give you the update when we can see it as soon as we can. But a golden chance. It was a great little piece of trickery, by the way, from Ollelito to then draw that foul out. He hit the bar of Mbappe. We thought that was it. That was a chance said and done. And then referee points to the spot straight.
Let's have a look at it. So this was the penalty given. Beautiful feet. I mean, look.
I don't know what.
It's a harsh red card.
Does it like?
Are we talking
buttons being inputted there?
We're talking double jeopardy. It's a harsh red card. If I was in that position,
margins are in your favour.
If I'm in that position, I'm having words. But I'm not in that position. I'm in the commentary booth, and I will tell you one thing, and that is the favourites in this leg, certainly. Team Hullet Ninja in pyjamas.
You're thinking it's a slide tackle. It's not. It's not even that. It's just a toe. Virgil van Dijk off. Now it's going to have to be a team that's restructured ever so much. Lucio is on alongside Maldini.
The chat is not happy. The chat is not happy one bit.
I can understand. They're calling for the ref to go to VAR. Unfortunately, we can't do that. What FNATIC can't do is dwell on that. They have to move forward. That certainly changed things up, though, hasn't it?
I mean, the question now, can Team Hullet Ninja in pyjamas make an advantage out of it? Can they get under the skin, maybe, of FNATIC? I mean, I'm sure they're much more level-headed than we are if we're playing this game right now, Brandon. Accusations are being made towards whoever's given the penalty away. I'm thinking, how is that a red card? They've just got to keep calm.
Even if FNATIC even get out of this game as a draw, they'll be happy with
result.
it.
It's a good result.
We'll have to see. This last 30 minutes will be played. On the flip side, there's just going to be a bit of pressure from TG.NIP to say, look, we have to make the most of it. Yes, the gap's up top now. They've replaced the gap at the back. There's not going to be much of an attacking threat. Can we add another body forward? Here's Teo Hernandez, cuts it back inside. This is nice. Mbappe! Ollelito says yes, please!
And they are making it count. The extra man passing the ball around, instinctive, crisp, build-up play, and then a rifle of a right foot from Mbappe in the near post.
He sent a warning shot earlier, did Mbappe with Ollelito. 20 minutes later, he's able to find the back of the net, and no surprise, into the pause we go as more changes will be made. Controversial or not, FNATIC can't do much about it. They've just got to try and pull themselves out of this rut.
Do you consolidate? If you're FNATIC, look, 2-1, like, we're not going to concede anymore.
You have to if you're... Defensively, how good they've been as well, Richard. That's the most goals they've conceded. I mean, they've matched it in the knockouts in one leg. Yes, they've only got 10 players on the pitch, but, I mean, we just said it. A draw would have been a great result to come out of that. Now, I think you're right. Let's just try and see this clock down a little bit and keep this to a low-scoring game. If you have just tuned in, this is the EA Sports Cup final. Leg 1 is currently underway. About 20 minutes left. FNATIC did take the lead. A red card happened, a penalty, and all of that as well. And now the game has been flipped, and TG.NIP up by 2-1 as we jump back in the game now.
It was a great finish. Really, really good finish. Mbappe at the near post. Ollelito just making sure he doesn't go over the bar, doesn't hit the bar. I know they've had a little bit of unlucky finishing today, have Team Hullet Ninja in pyjamas, but that one certain to hit the top corner.
Minutes left of leg 1 here. FNATIC can pull a goal back with 10 players on the field. That'll be an incredible achievement. Minutes or so, Lucio onto the pitch. It wasn't the best sort of defending, but well played and recovered by Diogo there.
I love the driven pass from FNATIC, from Team Hullet Ninja pyjamas, sorry, right there. Just sort of building 3 or 4 passes and then that punch into the striker, just trying to really drill it into his feet, then you can play off him. Unfortunate that Lucio just stepped in front and managed to win the ball back.
Just that one of Mbappe on his left-hand side there. Was teased there by Tekkz. Hullet will find Diogo, who's in control of Mbappe this time round. Punched into the feet this time of Arnhem. Tekkz needing to show a bit of magic, of course he will. Try his best to do that. TG.NIP on the hump for another one.
I would be very, very surprised if they didn't go into the second leg with a winning advantage, maybe even by another goal, maybe a 2-goal cushion for Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas. Every time they get the ball, they look somewhat dangerous, especially when they're trying to build up into the final third and try and create those clear-cut chances.
Well played there by Tekkz. Yeah, Torre.
You need to be even more disciplined though for FNATIC.
Oh, Levi, stop it, Pele!
So it's about being disciplined, not pulling players out of position. Sometimes there's nothing he can do. Levi to Weerd. Incredible couple of step overs from Pele, left the defender in his wake. Fist bumps all round, drilled it past the goalkeeper. And I said they're going with an advantage, we just didn't know the margin of it.
2 goals, Rich, but there's a team that can turn the game on its head. Remember, against one of the toughest opponents in this tournament, they were able to get past them with 8 goals to 1. They scored 7 goals without them even scoring. They've had many questions asked them throughout this process in the group stages. When they lost games, they came second in the groups. When teams were at them on social media, they came back into knockout play, and there's just a lot of those doubters. They're going to have to go. Prove a few more people wrong in this second leg. But now more than ever, Rich, they're thinking, get us out this game at 3-1. No more. Credit where it's due to TG.NIP for making the most of that advantage. There's a couple of minutes plus additional time left. Maybe time for one more attack. You might just have enough time. Clock to tick over. It's the additional time period that they want. And here we go then. Virgil van Dijk looking to drive it forward. 20 in-game seconds left. Possession back again to TG.NIP. Will there be enough time to make the attack happen? Alphonso Davies now down the byline, cuts it back. Cruyff wins a corner. I know corners have had a slight change in the last 24 hours. I don't think I'll see this come directly in. No, we won't. Played short. Great feet again. Ollelito towards the back post, and that will do us for the first leg of this grand final. From a 1-0 lead to a controversial red card. Now suddenly, there's a 2-goal deficit to chase.
You just see there, unhappy FNATIC. Admin's getting an earful. Not too sure the context of it, but we'll try and bring you everything and find out what is happening down there in the pit. I can tell you a certainty, and that is that Ollelito and Levi to Weerd are 3-1 up after our first leg of action.
Yeah, and it's going to need a dramatic turnaround, as we said. This is only halfway in the grand final. There is still a second leg to come, and it's coming up after this short break.
The EA Sports Cup is presented by PlayStation Tournaments.
Welcome back to London. You are joining us now for the halfway point in the grand final. Myself, Brandon, from Richard Buckley, guiding you through this $50,000 FIFA 23 final. Richard, it's safe to say we've only played one leg, but it's been a bit of a roller coaster of a game.
Full of drama, full of emotion so far, this first leg of action. If you missed it, there were some incredible moments. 4 goals that you did miss. And I can tell you it's not evenly split one bit. 3-1, Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas do lead. And this is how the first leg of action did break down. It took 35 minutes for FNATIC to open up this final. Lovely play from Mbappe, Tekkz slotting past the goalkeeper, fist bumps all round. FNATIC were on top of the world. However, it all did come crashing down inside the second half. Mbappe with Ollelito. Great feet, hit the top of the crossbar, but you did see a foul in there. It was a red card. Those two were shocked. We were shocked in the commentary booth. And the penalty was scored to level up the game.
Yeah, that made it 1-1, Richard. 52 minutes on the clock. And what that did, it gave them a one-man advantage. And by God, did TG.NIP make the most of that. You can see the first chance now that came through. 64 minutes on the clock. Teo Hernandez back inside. One more pass. Ollelito had that chance to make it 2-1. And then it was teammate Levi that created that all-important third goal, which you can see here with 8 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, Zidane pinging the ball into Levi de Weerd. Ollelito passing to Levi. And I think you could tell when that goal went in, it just meant a little bit more. They've got the cushion. They've got that advantage going into the second leg of action. And this is how the game did wrap up. 2 XG to 0.3. Possession flipped on its head as well. And I talked about the passing accuracy. It was 86% at halftime. They got that up to 91% there. Did Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas. A fantastic second half. Yes, it might have been, probably was, down to the red card advantage, but you've got to take it.
Yeah, don't worry as well. Virgil van Dijk will be back in the mix next game. He's not on a suspension of any means. For now, we're going to go down to Carl Walker, who's joined by someone else who might have an opinion or two on this grand final.
Brandon, Richard, thank you so much. Ryan, what a first game that was. But I guess it's that age-old thing when it comes to FIFA esports. You've got to capitalise on your opponent's mistakes.
Yeah, of course. I'd say it was a very even game up until the red card, and that changes the dynamic of the game completely. Of course, numerical advantage. You have to make it count, as you said. And yeah, TG.NIP definitely done that.
When it was the before the actual red card incident, do you think that it was quite even and actually it could have gone either way?
Yeah, 100%. I still think there's a lot to play for in the second leg. It's only a 2-goal deficit, and it's difficult for FNATIC in that game. When you have a red card, you kind of want to just shut up shop and maybe put players behind the ball, just try and defend a bit more deeper. But yeah, invited a lot of pressure, and yeah, TG.NIP made it count.
I'm quite conscious that the players are here, they can hear us. I'm not whispering as Richard and Mike were laughing at me before about, but actually, looking at the scoreline, 3-1, if there was 2 players, maybe one player you looked at that could bring that back, FNATIC Tekkz, we've seen him do it time and time again. At times, he's unstoppable.
Yeah, I think both of them. I think Diogo as well. I think both of them have played really well, not just today, but throughout the whole competition. And as I said, it's only 2 goals down. They played well up until that red card, so they can still come back into this game.
Right, well, I'm looking forward to this second leg. The EA Sports Cup final is here. 3-1 currently to Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas, but we've got plenty more to come. Richard, Brandon, over to you.
Thank you, Carl. Yeah, great to hear the words of Ryan Pissarro as well. He knows those English boys better than most, and I think he's right. There is still a lot more up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, look, the red card advantage won't carry over into this second leg. Van Dijk will be back in the team. FNATIC have just come up. You can just see here, getting the game underway. They went out for a little break, probably more to recompose. A little bit of a game chat, a little bit of a team plan. The countdown has started, so they must be ready and raring to go. They've got a comeback needed if they want to lift that trophy.
$50,000 on the line and that all-important trophy, as you saw. But will there be a turnaround for the final time tonight? Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Is there a comeback for FNATIC in this one? Or are we going to see a TG.NIP win as we turn another page off the book here of this EA Sports Cup that's given us so many storylines, from group play to knockouts to Championship Wednesday, as we'll call it. What position they put themselves in though, Richard. A 2-goal cushion, which by any means is not done yet, but regardless, it certainly is an indicator.
It's a big advantage. It allows you to play the game a little bit more passively as well. You're able to sort of try and play on the counter if it brings the opportunity for you. You're not trying to rush chances. You're not trying to sort of force the ball forward. And I'm sure FNATIC won't either. They know they've got enough quality to be able to pick through this Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas defense and get themselves right back in the game. It's not over yet. It's not.
Also, just on the build-up as well, TG.NIP, one of the best defensive records in the tournament as well. They were joint best defenders, I think, coming out the group stage alongside TG.NIP since that. Times to change ever so slightly. Have to see FNATIC score the first goal here. Back with 11 players on the pitch, which will give us more of a fair indication of that XG stat that was probably scuffed a little bit. Here's Pele. Really well played, Ollelito, just on his toes.
Didn't give him much help though, did he? He fizzed the ball into his chest and said, deal with that, please, Pele. You're already starting to see the way that this game, I think, is going to take shape. The counter-attacks from Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas and the build-up from FNATIC, even though right now it's not frantic and it's not trying to sort of force the ball into areas. They're still playing it just exactly as they normally would. We've set the table. We know what's being served in front of us. It's a set menu. It's a Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas defense and a FNATIC attack.
Dapper there back just to stop. Couldn't deal with the pressure there, just giving it away again. Perfect example of how to not to take a throw in there.
Foul throw.
Keep in mind, these two did face quite a long time ago. Yes, it was FIFA 22. They played in the Team of the Season Cup in a knockout stage. It was FNATIC that did win the game. R9 will have a shot from distance. Maybe not on target, but just a warning shot to say we're still looking for an extra goal if we can. They have scored from that sort of distance. We saw that in the quarterfinals. Pass there from Capdevia. Wins it back nicely. You mentioned that, Richard. An area which they struggled at times was that passing accuracy was a little bit low. They did improve it, but it's a side like FNATIC that normally doesn't put a foot wrong until that last leg. Has to be perfect now. Prime example of it.
And this style, what we're seeing right now, sort of a relatively slow 25 minutes, suits the Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas perfectly. They're in no rush, no need, no desire to try and force the issue. The game is playing out exactly as they want, and I'm sure Renzo, he's probably thinking if we get into half-time, they might have to be forced to make changes, then we can try and kill the game off.
Another win there from Ter Hernandez. Much as they might lose possession, it's come straight back at them. They've still managed to defend it as they approach a third of the game. Done. Mbappe timed this run well. Here's Levi in control of Mbappe. Is there a cutback? Well played, Capdevia.
Good
corner.
defended.
What can we see from here? Pele towards that back post. Oh! That could have went anywhere. It was Virgil van Dijk.
He's offside.
On Virgil van Dijk. Fortunate enough, he was offside. This attack is not fully dealt with. A slight camera angle change here. Here's R9.
Again, that's through FNATIC playing out of the back. A really, really quick press from Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas. They won the ball high up the pitch. I think it was Ollelito sort of stealing it back, and another chance created.
FNATIC on the hunt for a confidence boost in the form of a goal. Pretty much every single player back. Pele, Diogo, great pass into his teammate. Pull it with Tekkz, will remain composed. He'll try and cancel a skill move or two.
That would have been nice. The driven pass from Diogo into Tekkz's feet. Hullet, maybe not the man you want there. The 5-star skill move's unavailable, but he went for a lovely Berber spin cancel just to shake off his defender. Couldn't quite execute it. And Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas will come down the other end.
Trying to predict every single move and pass. You're right though, Richard. If Frento can get into half-time for his team, it's been 2-0 up, they'll be over the moon with that one. Wins a corner, more minutes out the game, more time out the game. I don't see a direct corner, no doubt we played short again. Interesting pass, could have been a stitch-up. In the end it was a lot to ask for from Ronaldo.
Counter. Capdevilla's busted a gut down that left-hand side. He went all the way from left back. He's got a long way back.
Keep an eye on these little runs that you can see FNATIC trying to tease. Whether it's Hullet, whether it's R9. Just trying to, I think, one step ahead of TG.NIP. Where's that gap? Where's that space that's going to appear? A couple of step overs that maybe weren't needed there from Yaya Toure. Now finds his team on the back foot. Time of 1 minute, so many possession changeovers in this first 45.
It was really, really well played from Ollelito. He was the player with Ronaldo out wide. He was dribbling, he was trying to just create something, but the difference between me and you, Brandon, and the pros right there, we'd have forced it. We'd have tried sticking it over the top or doing something really, really ambiguous. He just kept on going, kept on walking, kept on waiting for his teammate in Levi to open up an option for him, and might not be the most end-to-end first half in this second leg, but I tell you, two people who do not care one bit, and that is Ollelito and Levi.
5 minutes away, Richard. 45 minutes from becoming EA Sports Cup champions, $50,000 and that trophy. Here's the stats at half-time, and look, it was not a half of many chances, to be honest. The passing actually slightly down on the side of TG.NIP, but there were so many possession changeovers, Richard, in that game.
You said there were so many sort of losses of possession. A lot more passes of the ball there for FNATIC. They did have a lot more possession as well, but still yet to really register something clear-cut as we approach 45 minutes left in our grand final.
Are we seeing the big change from FNATIC?
Where's Tanta getting a bigger introduction in the coaching? Is that the change?
Camera down and...
Wes, go on in.
In you come.
What do you think?
He's got a resume, hasn't he?
He's got a great resume.
Tom Lees.
Yeah.
Changes are being made for FNATIC. When we see him, we'll report them for you. 45 minutes left in this grand final for FNATIC to find 2 goals to turn this game on its head. There has been many twists and turns and surprises in London over the duration of this EA Sports Cup. Surprises if we saw a few more now. This TG.NIP team has been working so hard for so long behind the scenes. They were maybe not in luck at times. Penalty shootout falling their way this time round. Mbappe. Interesting choice to pass. It still keeps possession though. Jarzinho. Oh, edge of the box.
Let's see a direct shot.
So down over it. And here's Ollelito with Ruud Hullet, who goes for it! And for a second, I wasn't sure where that was going to end up. It didn't look like the most powerful shot.
It looked like a pass back, didn't it? But
yeah, you got me excited for that one.
When he started lining it up, I thought, surely not.
Diogo in control, Jarzinho. Back in control. FNATIC. Can they break down this team? Is there a way round? Vivian. Ollelito. Misplaced pass there. Referee goes back for an advantage, and it goes into the book. Safe to say the ref's been pretty card happy across this grand final. I still remember like it was yesterday when we heard that Ollelito and Levi would be teaming up in a 2v2 team. There was always that aura around them of what they could achieve. They came close last year, but they were just missing a few pieces to the puzzle.
I think having those sort of setbacks has helped them in the long run. Knowing that we are good, we are really, really solid players, and I seem to remember when they lost at the Club World Cup, Ollelito was sort of taking the blame on himself, and Levi went, "We lose as a team." And I can guarantee you in 30 minutes they will be winning as a team as well, if the scoreline stays as it is.
30 minutes of superb defending. This wave of pressure will continue to come again and again and again from FNATIC. Run trigger there by Hullet. Someone else is back around the box, and that's Virgil van Dijk.
Will FNATIC get a sniff?
Just a goal. A goal can cause havoc. Mentally.
There'll be shockwaves in that Team Hullet Ninja in Pyjamas defence.
They've dealt with it so well. Into the pause.
It's time to go.
25 minutes left to play here.
It's time to throw bodies. It's time to go for it. We're going to see changes being made there. Renzo having a word with his players as well. One of the smartest brains in the game from that coaching perspective. And
in the shortest way, Rich, he was teammates with Levi, wasn't he? He played for the Tekkz in the Eredivisie, and then just turned around and decided and went, look, I'm better
in this coach role.
Yeah, I want to go into the coach role, and he's seen the longer view round. Well, I said that Richard got me excited for this this free kick. This is Richard's reaction.
I thought there was a chance.
Got me excited there, and then I think in hindsight, if we see it back on the replay, the actual free kick,
he went straight to the keeper's hands.
There wasn't that much power on it, was it?
Do you know what it was? The trajectory.
Yeah.
I was behind the ball.
Especially free kicks this year.
I saw it going up and over.
Anything can happen this year from a free kick. 25 minutes left to play. Is there a way back for FNATIC, or is there a killer blow to come from TG.NIP, which would be the winning goal, the championship moment? And Kunku comes on, Rich. Any more on the changes that FNATIC made?
Yeah, I mean, and Kunku just gives you that extra level of attacking intent, the 5-star, 5-star. Great pace, good all-round stats. If a chance falls to him, you expect him to score. It looks like a change of system as well.
This is nice, Tekkz. Even better defending from Levi. Battle in the midfield as FNATIC, no doubt, are putting a 3 at the back into use. Around there, off the bench as well. That foot hero, the Saudi Arabian. What's that back post? Could be a gift. Ollelito! That could be game, set, match. Championship point.
Is it wrapped up? 3-goal advantage. With 16 minutes left to play. Is the EA Sports Cup got a bow on it with some navy and yellow tassels coming off it? Is it going home? With Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas, they are ever so close.
I mean, Rich, 3 goals.
What did we say at the top of the game? What did we say? If FNATIC don't score, this lends... They have to score early to put this game plan that they wanted to do completely out of the picture. Whenever they've got the ability to play, not necessarily defensively, but not have any real advantage of just scoring and scoring and scoring, the game goes light. The counter-attacks open up. How many times have we seen it? Very rarely, very, very rarely, does the team in the losing position come back. A lot of the time, this happens. The game stretches, it opens up.
I mean, look at the games, yeah. Look at the games on Monday and today.
And the team that is in that winner's advantage and that winning position goes on to win the series.
And also, I think you're so right. There were so many moments last year that both the teams got knocked out in tournaments. You know, look at the run that Ollelito had with Sweden, coming that close in the E-Nations a week after playing in the E-Club and being knocked out there. It's in a top 4 again as well. And there were so many questions. What are we missing? What are we missing to our game? What are we missing to this team? Months on, a new game came out and a new tournament emerged. The team stayed the same. The hunger stayed the same. And everybody that has been behind this Team Hullet NIP roster, the investment made into coaches and staff, boot camps in the Netherlands. And if you didn't already know, it's their birthday today. 5 years founded.
Not a bad birthday, is it?
Not a bad birthday treat, is it? Ronaldinho across to Levi. There you go. If it wasn't done already, now it is. Happy birthday, Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Consistency is king in FIFA esports. The most consistent team, the team that is unbeaten in this entire tournament through 8 weeks of groups, through 2 knockout games and into a grand final. They have not suffered defeat one time. And tonight they will be taking home $50,000.
First 2v2 trophy. As a team as well. FNATIC had to go for the game. That's why the chances are open now. That's why the extra goals are going in now. They had to go for the game. And I can assure you, for weeks and months, we'll talk about that first leg and that red card and how it changed the game. But more importantly, how TG.NIP just kept their cool, kept their composure.
The history books will say one thing, and that is a TG.NIP victory. First major of the year going to Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas. Ollelito, Levi de Weerd.
And all that work, all that commitment. As we said, if you didn't hear, Ollelito flew over to Amsterdam from Sweden early last week. They were boot camping. And although they can't be here right now, I can assure you there'll be lots of happy faces in the Netherlands.
Absolutely.
So they deserve it. They've been a factory of talent.
We talked about Levi de Weerd with the performances that he had online, and this game is over. Let's start hyping it up. We'll talk about Levi de Weerd and the performances online. This is the first real flagging the ground of a major LAN event for Ollelito. What a 3 to 4 years this man has had, from major wins to Euro Cup Grand Final opportunities. Another accolade to add to his resume.
Well, he's been a FUT Champions Cup winner. He's represented multiple teams all around the world. Now they have their moment. TG.NIP EA Sports Cup champions. Well, well, well. What a journey it's been for those two. Through the ups and downs, it was all worth it in the end, they'll tell you. Tears in the eyes of Ollelito. 8 weeks of group play into the knockout stages and all that hard work,
Look what
Richard.
it means.
It's all worth it now.
Look what it means to Ollelito. He's brought to tears. Tears of joy.
This is a player, Richard, that lost on a penalty shootout in the Premier League. Top 4 for them too. Question marks over Levi on LAN.
Maybe they thought they would never get this opportunity again. Maybe they thought they would never get the chance to be at the top of the mountain in FIFA esports. But right now there is one team there standing on their own. Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas.
What a run for these two. A Swede and a Dutch wonderkid who came through the ranks just 2 years ago. He's only 18 years of age, and in that time he's been a European champion twice. A 2v2 EA Sports Cup champion, alongside the man that's created his own legacy in Ollelito.
Whenever I spoke to him over this week, the pair of them, they just kept so calm. Consistency is so important in FIFA esports. They just always seem, they never have a bad performance. If it doesn't go to plan, they get out with a draw, they get out with a 1-0 defeat. But they always seem to turn the screw when it matters most. And you can see right there, deserved champions. Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas. Ollelito and Levi de Weerd.
Yeah, I think Levi there just say, get it on Twitter. They are your champions of this tournament. This is the first major of the year, our first 2v2 major, the first of a time as well in FIFA esports. As long as we've been involved, we've kicked off the year with a 2v2 taster before we turn our attentions to 1v1. But look, let's look at the highlights of this journey, of this grand final. There was 20 teams and there was only 2 that were remaining, Richard. Leg 1 gave us all the twists and turns because FNATIC took the lead.
No, it did. I mean, It was that Mbappe finish into the bottom left corner. They were 1-0 up, and then the game changed on this moment right here. Great play from Ollelito. The tackle came in. We said at the time it was harsh. Red card was shown, and the first leg ran away. That's our reaction. I didn't know what was happening. So the penalty given, the red card quickly followed, but the penalty was scored as well. Top right corner. I said they just come out the back of a penalty shootout. If anyone you can back to score a penalty, it's one of those two. And then what happened? They took the advantage and made it count.
And then this was the game-changer moment. That was a brilliant goal from Ollelito there, Mbappe scoring it. And then there was a chance, 8 minutes left on the clock. Levi, couple of step-overs, so silky, so smooth, in such a high-pressured moment here with Pele. Squeezed it into the near post again. Left Edwin van der Sar with no chance. That was a 2-goal cushion that they took into the second leg. And what were we saying? FNATIC have to come out and score early and first.
Yeah, and the second leg sort of... There wasn't too much going on. This was a free kick that Edwin van der Sar got his angles right. Clearly, I didn't see that angle where the ball just floated into the hands of the keeper. But we're not showing you too many FNATIC chances because simply they didn't create that many. The chance down the other end, the game became stretched. And this goal was the dagger. Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas, 4-1 scoreline, 3-goal advantage. It was a big reaction for that goal, and then the fifth quickly followed.
Yeah, it did. And look, this is when FNATIC had to go for the game. There is no surprise why there are numbers and so many TG.NIP shirts. This was Levi David just to put the nail in the coffin. And that was all she wrote. That is your EA Sports Cup champions, Levi and Ollelito. Wow. What a journey, Rich. What a number of weeks it's been. 20 teams turned up. But you've got to remember, we had the likes of, Ajax, PSG, Man City in this tournament, Team Heretics.
All the big teams.
All the big teams, past champions, past winners. And as much we've been on so many twists and turns, it's the team that has been unbeaten on this whole tournament.
Do you not find it quite sort of poignant that the team that didn't drop an entire series, didn't drop a map, didn't drop a match in this entire tournament is the team that's about to lift that trophy, Brandon?
Well, look, there's only one thing left to do, and that's it from the commentary booth for now. Let's head down to Carl Walker, who is with our winning team.
Richard, Brandon, thank you so much. We had 8 weeks of group stages, then we had our quarterfinals and our semi-finals, and it's all ended with an incredible final as we just saw. But for our champions, that journey, it started years ago, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of success along the journey as well. But for now, it is time to celebrate our champions of the EA Sports Cup. Please put a hand together for Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas, Ollelito and Levi David. Smiles on their faces, celebrations all round. This is something that they've been waiting for, but you're gonna have to wait to lift that trophy just a minute or two longer, because I've got to talk to you. What a journey it's been for both of you. A journey that's brought you both together. We've seen the highs, we've seen the lows, but surely, Ollelito, this makes it all worth it.
100%. I promised a lot of my fans, my family, even Levi's dad, when I met him in the Netherlands before we flew here, that I'm going to give it my all. And as a team, I love this team. I've been saying it a lot of times. I think we are one of the best, and I think now we are the 2v2 world champions as well, So all hard work pays off, and yeah, God is good.
It definitely is. And Levi, for yourself, again, another incredible journey. There was doubt at the beginning, from the transition from online to here in LAN to these tournaments in person. People doubted, people questioned. You answered all of those questions with this one tournament.
Yeah, I never questioned myself because I believe in myself, but I needed to show it, and I think Olle and I did this tournament. We haven't dropped a game, and yeah, to be honest, this week we have practiced a lot. And I felt like we were by far the best team, just like we were very confident, and in practice we almost beat everyone. So yeah, I don't know, I think we deserved the win here.
Well, you definitely deserved it, and you will get your hands on the trophy. Ollelito, Levi David, Team Hullet Ninjas in Pyjamas, our EA Sports Cup champions. The trophy is yours.
Well, there you have it. They played 11 rounds of FIFA to get their hands on that trophy. Their first as well as a duo. And let's welcome Renzo in, their coach. I mean, they couldn't have done it without him. But Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pajamas are your EA Sports Cup champions. What a moment. I mean, they've been celebrating all day so far after winning on penalty shootouts, of course, and then getting into the final and defeating the local boys team, FNATIC. They're the birthday boys, and they are the champions. These guys lifting their first trophy in style. I can hear them saying it's the most beautiful trophy they've ever seen. Well-deserved, boys. Continue celebrating, and we'll see those guys soon, and we'll see you soon as well, because we'll be back on February the 18th and 19th for the E-Champions League. But for one time, more. There we go. Team Hullet, Ninjas in Pajamas are your EA Sports Cup champions. We'll see you guys very soon and leave you with some beautiful celebrations from that team. Goodbye.